How you doing? All right. Good. How you doing? Yeah. Growing.
I care.
They trying to get me centered, my boy.
Yeah. Okay.
רגע חברים, אני שנייה עובר למסך השני. לא, למסך הזה. למסך הזה.
Good afternoon, everybody. Those of you here in attendance and those watching on Zoom, remind everybody on Zoom to please mute during our media sessions and only unmute once you're called upon.
I'm on this thing, bud. I'm on this thing with Brad.
Yep.
Yeah, you sure are.
Whoever's on the thing with Brad, please
We're
mute.
kicking it live.
So we'll be calling on folks both here in the room and on Zoom. So again, just please, if you want to raise your hand, we'll put you in the queue and unmute once your name is called. Brad, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and start with Chase.
What's up, Brad?
Give me 2 seconds, Chase. Are you good, go?
Good. Sorry to bring back bad memories, but we haven't talked to you since the Olympics. Just what was it, like that whole fallout like? Is you obviously had to bow out last second there.
I would say it's a good memory. I won't say it's a bad memory. It definitely sucked for one, not to go, but I mean, I couldn't. That's out of everybody's control. It could have happened to anybody. It was an exciting opportunity for sure. That Sean Ford and Jerry Colangelo, kind of granted me. And I was a part of USA basketball since I was 15. And, to have that opportunity to play on the national team was a dream come true. Not everybody has that opportunity. And, not everybody is given that, and so many players are more than deserving of being on the team. It's very tough to pick 12 guys to go over there and win a gold medal for your country. So I was just thrilled to be a part of the team. I was honored for the role I had and, for the things I was able to contribute, during the exhibition time. I'll have an opportunity in the future, hopefully in Paris, to be able to go in the next 3 years. So I keep it alive. But on the flip side, I had a lot of family adversity during that time too, that, I was able to actually be with my family during that time. So it was a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways. So that's why I said it was a good memory, not bad.
Brad, kind of going off of that, how do you feel going into this season? Where are you as a player, as a leader on this team, and like you said, as a kind of a family man as well?
I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. It's definitely fun to be able to get back to normal a little bit. It's a fun year for us. We have pretty much a new team, a lot of new faces, new coach, new system. So I'm definitely excited for the changes we'll have, and I'm excited for the depth that we have at each position now too. So it's an exciting year. Definitely bummed to lose Russ, who's we all know he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But at the end of the day, to be able to see the pieces we got back, the depth and the experience too, I think that'll help us out tremendously moving forward. So, definitely will be some adjustments along the way. Everything won't be glitter and gold, obviously, when we come out the gate, but I think I like the pieces we can work with for sure.
And sorry, I do not want to ask this question. Are you vaccinated?
Oh, I am not vaccinated. No, I'm not.
Do you care to share why?
Personal reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please get this out of my hand.
Brad, with the off season being so short, I know you guys, you in particular, every off season work on something to improve your game. So with the off season being as short as it was, what was it that you were working on to come back this year as even a better player?
I really focused on my body because I played a lot of basketball this summer, from the season right into USA, and then obviously not being able to go, but I still was putting some miles on my body during the summer, and then having to jump right back into working out after COVID and not being able to work out for a week or two. So that was tough too. So I think more than anything, just getting my body back, to the shape it was in at the end of the year and throughout the year. My game is all about confidence. Obviously, I continue to work on it and continue to, try to perfect the things that help me have success on the floor. But a big part of that is my body and my availability. So as long as I'm on the floor, I feel like I'm confident I can do a lot of things out there.
Brad, how do you think you've changed as you're so much a leader on this team now? I mean, Tommy mentioned the other day that even coaching your AAU team and change your approach or thoughts. Just how have you changed as you prepare for the season?
Well, I've always told coaches this, like I have a newfound respect for them in coaching because my kids drive me nuts. So it's definitely fun to be on that side, and also not fun because I'm like, okay, I see why coach is yelling at us. I see why he's like, okay, you guys don't get it. But at the same time, it's propelled me for this position. I'm a young old head, like if that makes sense. This is year 10 for me, so I'm definitely excited about the experience I have and the knowledge that I can just pass down and instill the guys. And we have guys who've won rings on our team now too. So we put all that together. It's not just me just running the ship. We have a lot of guys who are vocal leaders who have won too. So I respect that part of it and everybody's ability to contribute to our team. So I'm looking forward to the shoes I have to fill. They're definitely big ones, but I think I've prepared myself for the last 10 years for this for sure.
Good morning, Brett. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Two-part question. With you being the leader of this team and whatever the NBA mandates and guidelines are going to come back, do you feel any pressure to be vaccinated, to be available for your team? And the second part, is there any scenario in your mind in which you do plan on maybe getting vaccinated?
One, I don't feel pressure. I don't think you can pressure anybody into making a decision about their body or what they put into their body. And I mean, we can have this conversation about a lot of different topics besides vaccines too. But yeah, you can't necessarily force anybody or, kind of, say it's time for a vaccine. I think you kind of let people come into their own about it. They do their research when they feel comfortable. They do it. I definitely think about it for sure. I mean, with the guidelines that the league makes and everything that the protocols are doing, they kind of make it difficult on us to where they kind of force us in a way to want to get it. But, at the end of the day, I talk it over with my family and we make a decision that we think is best for us, just like the rest of the world.
We talked to Tommy a few times this offseason, and during one of those sessions, he said that the moment he can offer you a new contract, he will. It's the same stance he had last time. Just as you get closer to that date, how are you feeling? How's the feel side of this?
It's the same as always. It's always going to be, what is he going to do? What is he? I leave that to Mark and Tommy and Ted. Like you guys figure it out. I come out here and hoop and do what I do. Obviously, I have some say so in that, but I don't worry about it. I know it's coming up in a few days, but my biggest thing is getting us off going to a good start. We worry about the contract and the money and all that later. I'll let them deal with it when the time comes, for sure. I got all year to sign it too, so I'm not in a rush.
Smart man, we have to figure it out. You're just like smiling at us. Brett, you've got a lot of guys on this team who you not necessarily don't know super well, but have relationships with around your kind of same age. So you came up together. What do you feel like so far? Can you tell the identity of this team? What's it going to be like? How's the chemistry developing from that kind of point of view?
I think that's what we have to figure out, honestly. Like you said, I haven't played with a lot of the guys, but playing against them and, us kind of jumbling the team together. Like you can kind of have an idea of what we can be like and the type of team we can be. We'll definitely be athletic. We'll be fast. We'll be a push to pace type team. Definitely athletic. We have versatility at, multiple positions. So it's very curious to see what our true identity will be. Obviously, I know Coach Unseld wants to emphasize a strong defensive presence better than what we had. And I know he's a genius on the defensive end too. So We're just excited for that part of it, but it'll be an adjustment. It won't be, like I said before, just picture perfect from the get-go. We'll have to figure that out as we go.
Speaking of Coach Unseld, what kind of conversations have you had with him leading up to this point, and what do you think about the team going forward with him as the leader of the group?
One, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the opportunity he gets. It's his first go at it, and he's definitely put in the time and the work, and he has the credibility for it. So in that realm, I'm more than happy for him, and he has an opportunity, to come to a place where his father was, a big, huge, forefather of this organization. So that's definitely exciting for him, and I'm excited for the opportunity he gets to be able to grow his own wings outside of his dad. Yeah, I mean, he's a great down to earth guy. He's very humble, soft spoken, and but at the same time, I can see he has a little fire to him. He has a little fiery edge to him. So I'm definitely excited to work with him. To play for him and definitely be coached by him. So, hopefully we can get this thing going and keep it going for sure.
Coach Unseld mentioned, we appreciate so much your defense.
I think it's because I'm on Zoom.
There's so many shooters or more shooters on this roster now. Mike,
Oh no, only the host can share it because screen mirroring is considered.
curious about your take on that.
Oh, he's 100% right. I won't have to be able to make every play,
Can we get Brad unmuted on Zoom?
We can't hear Brad.
Can't hear you. Please fix this and allow some folks to record, please. Again, some people have been asking for recording access. Please grant that. Thank you.
Can you hear me now, Kendall? Oh, now you're muted, huh? Oh, okay.
We hear you, B.
Oh, okay. Okay. There we go.
Just got another vaccine one, sorry. It's, after press conferences last year, you always encouraged people to mask up, and it seemed like you took COVID very seriously.
Mhm.
So, people would say to take COVID seriously, but just get the vaccine. I know it's a personal decision and all, but are you surprised that the way, I guess, what's like
the justification there, or like how do you kind of manage that, like still taking COVID seriously, but just not getting the vaccine? And then also this idea of like with NBA players, I don't know if you read the Rolling Stone article over the weekend, but that there seems to be like, for lack of a better word, an anti-vax herd among NBA players.
I don't give a damn about the herd or whatever it is. Every player, every person in this world is gonna make their own decision for themselves. I would like an explanation to, people with vaccines. Why are they still getting COVID? If that's something that we are supposed to highly be protected from. Like, it's funny that, it reduces your chances of going to the hospital. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID, right? So is everybody in here vaxxed? I would assume, right? So you all can still get COVID, right?
We're less likely to die or go to the hospital.
Okay, but you can still get COVID. Right. So, and you can still pass it along with the vax, right?
So
I'm just asking the question.
Oh, sure. And so like having COVID back around the Olympics, like that, basically you're saying like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but did having it change your opinion one way or another? Like, did it kind of reemphasize, I don't need the vaccine because of that?
No, that wasn't the case. I mean, yeah, I had it, but that doesn't mean I can't get it again, I mean, it's no different than somebody with the vaccine. Like yes, I developed the antibodies for it, so my chances will be less likely now as well, right? But it's still a possibility I may get it. Just like there are players and coaches and staff who are vaxxed and missing camp right now because of it. So
We'll take some questions from Zoom. Neil.
Hey, Brad, good to see you. Pop and Draymond and people were calling you after they won the gold medal, congratulate you for what you were able to provide and help in that facet. Tommy described you as, you were going to take a very defensive standpoint on that team. What are some of the things you learned from there that you think that you might be able to implement here with the Wizards now?
Man, it's tough. I mean, that's two different teams. It's kind of like not fair in a lot of ways because you're comparing an all-star team to, regular NBA teams. You can't, the mentality and the approach to them are totally different. Obviously, you respect every, star that is there, their approach and their leadership and how everybody is able to sacrifice and take a step back for the man next to them. Like, everybody on that team was able to score 30 points, but we didn't need everybody to score 30. So everybody can go get 10 assists, 10 rebounds, but we didn't necessarily need everybody to do that. So on that scale, it was just, more or less kind of really getting a feel for, how it is playing with other stars, other guys who are really good and talented, and how do we sacrifice for the benefit of the team and coming together to win. Obviously you have that within your teams in the NBA, but at the same time, our team is we're built up a little bit different than USA team, but I definitely carry over some of the, the leadership qualities and just attention to detail from Coach Pop and just a lot of the other guys and how they approach the game. Like, you definitely respect that and you try to implement them into your own, for sure.
Out of curiosity, do you know if you might be receiving a medal, and or if not, what it means to you that, people are reaching out and say, hey, thank you?
I will not receive a medal. That's a rule. I didn't play a game in the Olympics. So, I respect that 100%. And there's no ill will from me. Like, I'm not pissed off about it. I'm not mad. It's out of my control. It's out of everybody's control. Because like I said before, on the backside, it was a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways. And so, I won't get one, but I'm definitely happy for the team. And it meant the world to me to, to hear from Pop, hear from Jason, hear from Draymond, hear from all the other guys, and, them be excited for me like I was there, so that was definitely cool though, for sure.
Thanks, Brad.
Christy.
Hey, Brad, good to see you again. When you are trying to focus in on the identity of the team, how does it correlate to maybe having a baby and not having the name ready until the baby is born, and then you see the personality of the child, and then you can evolve from there in terms of the actual identity? How do you compare that to what the team is going through right now in terms of nailing down what you want as the team's identity?
I mean, that's tough. I mean, because in a way, that's kind of how we are. It's like we're not babies, but that's a good analogy to have. We kind of have to figure it out, how it is on the floor. You can't just necessarily just, throw a lot of talented guys together and think it'll work, So there has to be, obviously, we have to respect coaches, his staff, one, and then two, his system. We have to respect everything that he wants to put in and implement into our team. And we have to buy into that. I think that's the other key. As long as we buy into that, I think we'll be able to find, our identity relatively quickly, and that's the reason for preseason and these exhibition games and camp, for us to be able to, figure that out, on a day-to-day basis and challenge each other, in practice, and then, on the court, build that camaraderie to take it out on another team. So it'll be some time. I'll go with the baby approach, Christy.
And just one last thing for me, with Wes Unseld Jr. holding the reins as the head coach, what do you see from him? I know he was here 10 years ago. Was that your rookie year? Did you guys overlap at the beginning when you came here to DC?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. No, I think he was gone when I got here.
Okay. But just with that, just when you said you're an old young head, or a young old head, whatever you said, is it about the coaching of the AAU teams, or is it about fatherhood that you were talking about when you said kids don't really understand what I'm saying?
Coaching. It's coaching. It's my boys understand more than my AAU kids do. My AAU kids are frustrating sometimes. No, it goes both ways. No, my boys give me a hard time too. But I mean, I'm 28 years old. This is year 10 for me. That's kind of a young old head, in a lot of ways. I have a lot of years, but I'm still young. I still have a lot of fight and game left in me. So I'm excited in that realm. And, I don't treat myself as a young guy. I'm very mature. I feel like I'm mature, and it'd definitely be an adjustment, being called the OG and being called the oldest guy on the team and all that, but it's what I've prepared myself for. I feel like, learning over the years from John and Trev and Drew Gooden and Al Harrington and all my vets and Jared Dudley and all these guys, these guys were my vets, and I had great vets that I can, learn, that I had the opportunity to learn from, and now I can instill that stuff into my own team. So I'm excited.
Thank you.
Hey, B.
G Money.
How you doing? Hey, you mentioned that you worked a lot on your body this summer from a skill standpoint, and you played a lot of hoop. From a skill standpoint, anything specific that you worked on, whether it was your range, your three ball, your ball handling? You've gotten better every year with specific skills, and obviously you're at an elite level right now, but what are some of the the basketball stuff that you worked on?
Honestly, everything. Me, I always feel like nothing's perfect. I always want to improve everything, ball handling, but I would say I paid a lot of attention to my range and trying to extend it. I face a lot of double teams and traps and overloaded defenses, and so one way to keep them honest is, one, shooting deep threes, and two, getting off the ball earlier. So working on my reads and pick and rolls, and obviously having Coach Unseld put us in positions will definitely help too. But I'm definitely been working on the range and ball handling and constantly improving the game. Nothing's perfect, G. You know me. Everything has to keep getting better.
Gotcha. Hey, B, depth obviously is an important factor. You've been here for a while. And on paper, with the moves that they've made based on the Russell Westbrook trade, this looks on paper like a real deep team. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, because chemistry is a hard thing to put a finger on, and with every NBA team. But it looks like, you got shooters, you got rebounders. Is this the deepest team, or one of the deepest teams that you've played on since you've been here?
Oh, for sure. It definitely is. And like you said, I've said it earlier, like we have depth, like we have playmakers, we have shooters, we have bigs, but we can't just throw it out there and think it's going to work. We have to figure it out, how we mesh and how we gel the right way. But it feels good knowing that we have the pieces we need, to be able to compete on a nightly basis to win games. So it's just a matter of us, buying into, like I said, buying into the system, buying into bettering each other on a daily, creating that competition in camp. Because I think that carries over to the games. We create that competition in camp. We know that we're ready to go to war and go to battle with our teammate when it's time. So I think the camaraderie and the competition, the depth that we have, I think it's beneficial in so many ways.
Thanks.
Scott.
Hey, Brad, Scott Abraham, ABC7. Good to see you as always. Obviously, the whole vaccination debate, that's your personal choice, but it's probably not going to be the last time you're going to get asked these questions. Are you worried that this is going to be maybe a distraction for you, the team going forward, and how do you plan on handling this? Because obviously, in this COVID world, everybody wants to talk about the vaccination question.
Yeah. One, it won't be any pressure from me or from my teammates or anybody. Two, I don't think it'll be a distraction. We're here to play basketball and do that at the highest level. And, we have protocols and things in place to make sure that we're taken care of and we're tested, regularly. So, no, I think we're good.
I guess, do you understand, both sides of the coin, the perspective, because of this question and of this debate? Obviously, it's not an easy situation for you because you're a role model in the spotlight. Do you understand, the whole thing, the whole picture?
Yeah, I have family. My mom and dad are vaccinated. My older brothers are vaccinated. My sister-in-law is vaccinated. I know people that are very close to me that are vaccinated, just as well as I have people that are close to me and related to me that are not. So it's a fine line. It's a personal choice between everybody. 100%. Like, I understand both sides of it. Like, I understand that there is a percentage of people who can get very sick. I didn't get sick. I didn't get sick at all. I lost my smell, but that was it for me. Everybody's going to react different. Everybody's going to take it differently. I mean, some people have bad reactions to the vaccine. Nobody likes to talk about that. And what happens if one of our players gets the vaccine and they can't play after that, or they have complications after that? Because there are cases like that, but I feel like we don't talk about those as heavily because they're so minute, maybe. But I mean, they are existent. So it's like I said before, we can talk all day about it. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. Everybody's going to have their own timing and comfort of when they feel like they want to meet those criteria or needs, or feel like they want to go through with getting the vaccine.
Appreciate it, Brad. Thank you.
No problem.
We have time for a couple more, Grady.
Hey, Brad, you talked about wanting to build that chemistry. Have you guys had any opportunity off the court to start building chemistry together?
For sure. I mean, I've hung out with a few guys. I've had a few guys over to my house, and we've hung out. We've gone out to eat. We actually have a team dinner tonight. So it's just we seldomly we do things. Went to the Giants Washington game a couple weeks ago. So we just do little things to kind of build it up. And Coach wanted us all here, after Labor Day, and everybody's commitment to doing that was great, and be able to have everybody buy into that, that's always a good sign. And obviously we'll have the year to continue to build that up, but so far we've done a pretty solid job of that.
My last question is, can you just share some of your personal goals with us this season?
Ooh, always get better. Always get better. But what is that? I don't have numbers, honestly. It's just obviously just continue to push yourself, continue to be better, be a better team. You know, I want to win. I want to win the right way and do it here. And I think we have enough, you know. So it's just we have to get it done and continue to push and do that. So I know I'll push myself. I hold myself to a high standard. I criticize myself more than anybody. So I know I'll be ready to go. I just have to make sure that my team is locked in and we're ready to go on a nightly basis.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
Last question, Clinton.
Good, B.
Q.
Would you say this offseason is the most you've played 5-on-5 in your 10 off seasons or so in the league? And if so, why did you decide to really go all out with like 5-on-5 basketball? Because I remember like talking back a few years ago, you said you're not really into off-season basketball and stuff like that. You're more like in the gym working your own grind.
I would say, I want to say no, but I have to say yes because of USA basketball. But I would say no on a like I still didn't play a lot of pickup this summer. Like the videos, just I might have played 2 or 3 games of pickup this summer. Like, and then when we came, obviously here in DC, we played a little bit too, but it wasn't a lot. It still isn't a lot. Like I don't. That's a tough one because you know a lot of nasty and crazy things happen in the summer, freak injuries and stuff like that. So we always try to avoid those things. But when you know you have competitive guys, you know who go hard and know how to play the game, you know, you want to get out there. You get out there and compete. So I definitely have my moments and that helps you get in shape because you can't like you sprinting is not going to get you in shape. Like actually guarding somebody, running through screens, you know, they get you in proper game shape. So, you know, doing a little bit of that in the summer helps. You know, and it kind of gives you a feel for where your game is too. So those are my reasons of utilizing it.
And forgive me if I didn't hear this as in the arena, but there was a report that came out this morning that Russell Westbrook tried to get you to also ask out of DC in that trade. Would you like to comment on that or clear anything up or deaden that?
Oh, I really want to dead it, but this happens every year. You guys know that. Like every players are going to talk, and you know Russ decided he was going to do what's best for him and his family. And I wasn't there. I wasn't in the same headspace he was. So it was a respectable decision. It wasn't like, oh man, after that, you don't want like, no, I love Russ to death. Russ, like we had a great conversation leading up to it, many of great conversations leading up to it. And he made a decision that was best for him. It was definitely, we were in a place of limbo for a minute. We didn't have a coach. We didn't know what was going on. Like it was a little rocky, you know, so him going into his 14th year, you know, he's looking like his time is ticking. So he wants to, you know, be on the championship contending team now. And I respected that. Like, I'm not sitting there saying we may be holding up the Larry. Like, yeah, we made some great moves. We made a lot of great moves. But he made the decision that was best for him. So I respected it. I'm happy for him. You know, he gets to spend his career, hopefully finish his career in LA, where it's his hometown. But yeah, we had good combos, and I'll keep them between us. But you know, more or less, he's there and I'm here. So.
Appreciate it, B.
Yep. Thank you, Brad. Yep.
Yo. Got the mic check, right? It's all set.
How's it going?
It's going good. Going very well. Very well.
What are your initial impressions of Wes Unseld Jr. now that you're starting this player-coach relationship?
It's going good so far, I would say. You know, we having good dialogue. He's open the communication up, you know, for us to for me to do so. And I like that. So good so far.
coach has said that the player relationship is one of the things that's most important. And how has he reached out to you? Did you start kind of over the summer, but what's it like having that open communication? Can you elaborate a little bit?
He started when I got traded. When the trade happened, I think it was a day after it happens. I got a text and a phone call. We talked a little bit, just to welcome me. He was excited. I was excited. I actually told him I was waiting on this phone call. But it's been good. Just knowing I can just reach out to coach at any point. And we can talk about anything. And he does the same. He reach out just to check on us. Just to see how we doing, which is good. And it's been good.
I know we've asked you before kind of where you fit or what you might bring to this team. Now that you've actually gotten on the court with the guys and you kind of see what there is to offer, where do you feel like your role is? And then also with the leadership on this team, you're obviously one of the more experienced guys. You got a lot of kind of young or mid-career guys. Where do you feel like that shakes out?
I feel like my main role is going to be more vocal leader. I mean, I would say. I mean, I know I'm gonna compete every night. 3-and-D. That's my game. I'm gonna add a little more that I've been working on this summer, not too much. But just gonna bring the competitiveness, that leadership, and just a championship mentality here. Try to get guys on one accord. Do things on the court and off the court. Together as much as possible. I feel like if we can build that chemistry to become a unit, early, it'll be easier for us to play on the court.
First things, welcome to the team. We're
Thank
happy
you.
to have you. You mentioned the championships and having the chance to play with the Lakers, with LeBron, with AD. What did you take away from that experience that you think you can bring here?
Like I just said, trying to build that chemistry. I felt like that championship team that we had, we pretty much did everything together. It was from dinner, movies, just to invite to like guys' house, things in that nature. I feel like the more we can just spend time together, get to know each other, know each other's weaknesses on and off the court. I feel like it's gonna be a good brotherhood over here. Everybody knows each other. We can crack on each other. And still take it. And laugh with it. And not take it personal. I feel like that's gonna be key for us. As far as just trying to get to know each other. It's here now. We gotta go.
So speaking of that, with the relationship, it's been talked about a lot. Your relationship with Brad and how far back it goes. If you can just tell us, what is that relationship like and how did it form?
I mean, when we was teenagers, through the AAU circuit, I never played with him. I always played against him, and that was even when we got to college. Then just as far as like going to all American games, Jordan Brand Classic, just being there, seeing him. We talked almost every camp. We seen each other. He lived in St. Louis and I was in Greenville, but we didn't get to see each other that much outside of that, outside of basketball. But we grew a friendship, through basketball, and it just carried on. And it's special. I feel like the relationship we have is special. He know me, I know him. We know when not to crack on each other when we needed when we just needed someone to just talk to. No, he's always been there, and I just can't wait to play with him. It's gonna be fun. I told him that last night. It's gonna be fun, man. Take some pressure off him.
Davis, welcome to DC. I'm Dave Johnson, the Wizards radio. Looking forward to spending time with you.
Same.
You just say that it's going to be fun. Having said that, what does excite you about this roster? You guys have been together since after Labor Day, but what excites you about being on the court for real?
I mean, I like the young team that we have, I would say. I mean, even though I'm young, but I like it. You know, it's a lot of guys that want to compete, and just gonna have that competitive mentality. So everybody is hungry. And I play with most of these guys, Spencer, you know, Trez, Kuz, and just knowing Brad, I just know like that mentality that we're gonna bring is gonna be fun just to play out there. You know, we're gonna and making it fun. You know, just not worrying about too much. You know, taking it game by game. You know, we set team goals and we try to reach it together.
I want to ask you about perimeter defense. It's kind of part of your reputation because you come here, and we've seen some guys with the Wizards kind of struggle doing that over the years. You know, whether it be young guys with officiating, and it seems like you kind of need to learn how to do that as a veteran. What have you learned throughout your career about like what it takes to be a good wing defender in the NBA?
First off, leave the referees alone. Just try to. I mean, I feel like from my experience, you know, personnel, you know, you got to watch a lot of film on who you guard or who your matchup is going to be. Know their weaknesses, you know, try to force them to do much of that as possible. No, you're not going to make them do it as much because they great players as well. And for me, I just try to, you know, contain, you know, stay in front. You know, if I can stay in front of my guy, I can get a great contest. So that's my go-to. And then what I look for is mainly just his jersey number, you know, in the middle of his chest. It's not gonna move. So if I'm watching that, like, you know, it helps me out a little bit. You know, I got little tricks, you know, a lot of stuff that I use, you know, to make that happen. But just I would say just more personnel and watching film, you know, would be the best, you know, way to like learn a player and get to know their tendencies and stuff.
Basically, what should we know about Kuzma that maybe people don't immediately know, since you obviously know him better than any of us do?
He's very fashionable.
Well, we knew that.
I know that, but I mean, something that did you know he's a painter? He paints. So, well, that's one thing. Kuz does paint. He showed me some paintings. He done a lot in the bubble when we was in the bubble. Actually, pretty nice. Not bad for a starter. But I didn't know he could paint. You know, so it looked good. So I would say that's one thing.
Artist. He's an artist.
Somewhat. not I wouldn't call him an artist. My 9-year-old is an artist. Kuz, no.
How about the same question about yourself? What do people not know about KCP?
They don't know. There's a lot you don't know, but I would say a lot. One thing, I like to draw. That's how I taught my son, you know, my 9-year-old son, how to draw a little bit. Now he's gotten better than I have because I stopped drawing. But one thing, yeah, I mean, I say I doodle a lot in my spare time, just drawing. And that's one thing me and my son have in common. We does. So I sit and draw with him a lot. So yeah, pretty much. Well, I wouldn't say clear my mind because I got 3 boys and they run it's 24 hours. So it's always nerve-wracking. But I mean, I got a lot of patience though. I learned a lot of patience. You know, just being there, you know, just hearing it, the noise and the complaints and all that. It's a lot of patience.
Would you like Criminal Minds, is that correct? That show?
I love Criminal Minds. I do.
The journey to be a better defensive team, which is such a focus here. The other day, Tommy Shepard said sometimes it's just, you know, 1 or 2 possessions a game can change the direction of the team. What's your philosophy on trying to, because that's obviously part of a championship mentality.
Uh, yes, defense does do win games. I mean, I feel like the more we on one accord, we're gonna make mistakes on defense, but as long as we do it at an effort, 100%, we're gonna have guys covering for that mistake, and I said it, I said again, like once we can have that chemistry and like we can be a unit, I know defense is gonna be easy. One guy makes a mistake, we got a guy helping, then the next guy helps. It's all a chain reaction. And the more that the chain stay together, the better we can be, I would say.
We'll take a few off of Zoom. Dan?
KCB, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Hope DC's treating you well. Curious, kind of when the trade went down, were you surprised? Did you expect it? I know your status in LA has always been sort of shaky because of the short-term deals, and I guess any reflection on your time in Los Angeles?
I mean, it wasn't a surprise. At some point I knew it was coming, because the 4 years I was there, I was always in trade talk. So eventually I knew it was going to come. So it wasn't as surprising, but I was shocked, so, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Did you say me? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. When you said that you were going to take pressure off of Bradley Beal, what specifically did you mean by that? Does that mean taking some minutes away so he's more fresh down at the end of the games, or are you talking on the offensive end?
That I know that might not happen. Taking minutes.
I mean,
but
not
no, I was just
rotational minutes.
I mean, just giving him the rest that he need. As far as like I want to say he won't have to carry the load on the defensive end as much. Where he has to be doing all that running around. He can exert his energy on offense. Also add a little of my game on offense. Scoring the ball, which I can do. A lot of people don't know. Also, I am a good playmaker, which a lot of people don't know as well. Just stuff here and there, man. I know. I mean, he's gonna have his shine. He's gonna do his thing. Just being there, at the right times when he need me. Taking that pressure there. Mentally, off the court and on the court.
Right. And with the championship mentality that you bring to the floor, what 3 things do you want to see materialize and evolve for the team with that in mind?
3 things I want to see. I would just say 3 things I would want to see as far as getting that chemistry together, being able to communicate with each other, on and off the court, no matter what it is, try to build that unit, and also just playing for each other. We all here to do the same job, to win games, eventually get to that championship, but play for each other. The more we can do those 3 things, I feel like the better we're going to be as a team.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well,
A couple more.
Hey, KCP, you talked about, the brotherhood and wanting to be able to kind of self-police each other. How have you seen, that work out so far, early on in your guys' runs, and what's the key to continuing that throughout a long season?
It's gonna take a lot of hard work. I've been on both sides where I've had it I didn't have it in Detroit, but we didn't, really wasn't a brotherhood, but we talked, it wasn't as much, for it to, to be to get where we need to be, and then in LA where we talked every day, we was out for dinners, got invites to, pretty much everything. I just see, us, I just that just doing that, communication is key. I just want to keep saying that, the more we can just talk to each other and be around each other is going to help.
KCP, how are you? Hey, Milwaukee last year added Drew Holiday and PJ Tucker, which brought physicality defensively to that team and just some ruggedness. And when you guys won the championship with LA, everybody talks about chemistry on offense. What is it that you noticed when the year you won a chip defensively that the Lakers did that year, and what are you going to try to bring to the Wizards with that in mind?
Like I said it earlier, where the championship run we had, the defensive side was it was that chain reaction. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody knew what it took, to get that championship. We was all on the same page. We was gonna if my teammate man got beat, if he got beat, it was someone there to help him, and then there was someone to help me, to help the helper. So we all knew what it took. And then, also having AD, and LeBron on your team helps. But they leadership, they was on it every day, from the start, from training camp, they was on it. They preach, one accord. We got to be on the same page. Everybody got to play for each other. Everybody got to have that same drive, championship only. And when everybody bought into that, it changed everything. We became the #1 defensive team, regular season and playoffs. So the more we can do that, I feel like we can do it here too. We got a lot of young guys that wants to compete.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
How we doing? Good.
First of all, we had I guess I'll start with this. What are your early impressions of DC? Because the last time we talked to you, you said you were kind of looking forward to settling in and living in a new city. Just kind of how's it been getting settled as you start training camp?
It's been great. I got my house in order now. I haven't really done much exploring or being adventurous. I kind of really just been where I live and to the gym. So because it's a lot moving. This is my first time being in a situation to really get traded and going through it and that whole experience. So getting my house in order, that's been good, and just trying to adjusting to this pace of life because it's much different.
We had a long conversation with Bradley Beal earlier about vaccines and just how much of a deal they're going to be this NBA season. Just what do you kind of make of how things are developing so far in terms of it playing such a factor?
Well, I think at the end of the day, no one really knows how things are going to go. America doesn't know. The NBA doesn't necessarily know because this is, uncharted territory. We've never, in our time in society, haven't really gone through, this type of, viral type of situation. So, I think NBA has done, the best job they could in the past, going from the bubble and also last season of incorporating, certain guidelines and procedures and precautions. So, and as you saw, if you followed along to those precautions, they slowly change. Some change drastically overnight. We started with 2,000 and 3,000 fans, and some states had 7,000, 8,000 overnight. So, that kind of just tells you that, it's kind of a waiting game and, just figuring out as, we go along with life. So.
I thought he was going to ask, so I didn't have to. Are you vaccinated?
That's personal. It's personal. Yeah. So.
In and we kind of asked you this before when we first talked to you after you got traded, but now that you've kind of seen these guys out on the floor, what do you feel like your role is going to be? You guys are obviously kind of without Rui right now, so that might affect, something on down the line. We're not sure about that, but what do you feel like you want to get done on this team? What do you feel like you can get done?
I want to be a leader. I think, being around some of the greatest players to ever play, and really studying them and really watching them, their every move. When I think about guys like LJ and Rondo, and how they're able to just connect with everyone on a certain type of level, whether that's friendship, business, work, whatever, and to really just try to enhance that and make everyone better. So, that's just my main thing. I want to just come out and bring to this organization and this city is a winning culture, and just that leadership from a winner's mentality. So,
Kyle, Justin Kutcher, I did a play-by-play on TV. So first of all, welcome to the team.
thank you.
We can clear one thing up. How tall are you?
6'10".
Okay.
Yeah, 6'10".
Your skill set, you have, I think people know that you have a certain skill set and it's very, very special. When LeBron was injured, you were able to shine. Now coming here, it's the first time you've been traded. You're getting used to it, but is it in a weird way, you look at this as like a blessing in disguise where you can finally show what you can do at 6'10" for a team?
It got to the point where, I was in LA for, 4 years, 4 marvelous years, got a lot accomplished, coming in as a rookie sophomore player, and, had a certain type of role, and really expanded and really developed really well. And then Anthony Davis comes, and, rightfully so, heading to the bench to a smaller type of role to sacrifice and win a championship, which we did. And that was the ultimate blessing in disguise for me, because I was able just to learn, how many young players can, come in this league and learn from arguably the greatest player, and, top 5, top 7, whatever you want to call it, power forward ever. And, those are just some of the memories and things I always keep for the rest of my life, because I've learned so much just watching them and trying to mimic them. And, whether that's, offensively from a standpoint, being a playmaker like LJ, or, really just wanting to become a good defender like how AD is. So, those guys helped me out a lot. And for me, wanting to get traded and being in a type of situation where I can, really spread my wings and develop at, a certain type of trajectory, that I was on to prior. So, it's great. It's exciting. And, obviously I know how to play the game of basketball, and I'm just excited to continue to improve and, just get better every single day. So.
Also, welcome to DC. I'm Dave Johnson, of radio play. Talk about culture and chemistry and things like that. As you've experienced success, is the approach off the court always as important as the approach on the court? Because everybody's talented in the NBA.
100%. I think that in this game of basketball, it's probably 80% mental, 20%, from a physical talent standpoint. Everybody in this league can be a star. It's all about, kind of like fit and opportunity, right? So, off court plays a big role into that, because you're only on the basketball court, 2 to 3 to 4 hours a day. So what are you doing the rest of the day? So, whether that's taking care of your body, getting massages, being in the cold tub, stretching, going over mental rehearsals of, what you're playing for that night, getting ready for practice, getting ready just to, have a certain type of energy and spunk, it all takes account, and it's all important when you're trying to become a great athlete.
You tweeted yesterday, I'm assuming you were watching the Lions game.
Yeah, I was. And I'm not a Lions fan, no.
Oh, you are?
I retired. Yeah.
Well, the team here is not much better. So I'm just curious to see if you want to expand on that. Just like, what do you like about NFL player turned media analysts? And then you weren't talking about us, none of us play the game.
Mhm.
Just how they, I don't know, I guess, what kind of sparked that for you?
I'm a big football fan. I watch football all the time. I grew up playing football, and so I'd say, I'm pretty in tune with that sport, and from all type of angles. From watching the game, but also, growing up watching, sports channels, and looking at certain type of reporters, right? And not certain type of reporters, more so, how each sport is, completely different from the way they're talked about, right? So if you look at football, if you look at guys, all the great players that turn into analysts, they do a phenomenal job of really, teaching the game, and just reporting it from a standpoint of, true craftsmanship. That's the word I like to use, because they're straight to the point. They're not, they're not bashing people. They're not trying to get jokes off. I mean, they might get jokes off, but a certain type of way. And they just do a great job of really, making sure that the average fan that doesn't really know much about the sport, to educate them on. And I think that's something that a lot of NBA guys that go into the analyst world, they could do a better job of. They could definitely do a better job of, because basketball is a great sport, football is a great sport, but the average fan, they might just only know about points per game, and that's all they care about. But if you look at football, you look at a guy like Teddy Bruschi or Randy Moss. I was just watching them this Sunday. So, they just do a great job of just talking about nuances of the sport. They may talk about how great an offensive lineman is, or how great somebody's blocking, or a certain detail of how, defensive coverages are. They really, really break it down. And I feel like the great sport of basketball is missing that. And I think it would be very important to, kind of get that for the future of the game.
Sounds like you're up next.
Say it again.
Okay, for our jobs, it sounds like.
No.
Yeah, just down the line.
No.
KCP was talking about your painting a little bit. I'm sure you talked about it before, but when and how did you get into that? How, would you call yourself an artist? You stopped right short of calling you like an artist. So.
Well, I mean, I think that life is all about your reference point. You know what I mean? So, it's cliche to say to each his own, but it's true. If you may like something, I may not. So, for me, being an artist is something different than what you may call artists. Like, you may think an artist is someone that is, professional or top notch, but, for me, art comes in all types of forms of life. So, that could be, me just painting, but, I like fashion, and I like to, wear certain type of silhouettes and clothes. And, that's a certain artistry about it too. No different than basketball. Kyrie Irving is an artist in the sport of basketball. So I would call myself an artist just because I like to, I have meaning to it, and that's what artists do.
Kyle, going back to your talk about football and analysis.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky enough a couple of years ago to have Karan Butler as one of our analysts.
Mm-hmm.
And Karan talked about his time with Kobe.
Yep.
And he said the first time on an airplane, he went back and he asked Kobe what he was doing, and Kobe was watching film.
Yep.
And Kobe's like, have a seat. And he just formed a relationship with Kobe based on that one thing. He said Kobe taught him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Was there something that you learned about watching film, about preparation
Mm-hmm.
from LeBron or AD or someone else that just has stuck with you and helped you propel to where you are right now?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm a film addict. And I wasn't there at one point. When you're a young player and you come into the NBA, a lot of things are foreign to you. And in college you may watch film, but it's more in a team collective standpoint. And my second year in the NBA, blessed enough to be around Rajon Rondo, and that dude he's unreal. The way he approaches the game, the way he thinks about the game, the way he watches film is, it really just intrigued me. And, I want to be as great as I can be. And that's one of the things that really, took, my IQ and the way I see the game to a different level. Prime example, no matter what time it was, we'd watch a game or we'd finish a game, you finish a game around 11. I don't really go to sleep until, probably 2 or 3, just because I'm still up from the game. And, Rondo, he would call me because, we had that type of relationship, and that's still one of my brothers today. So he would call me at 3 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. And this is when I'm first now really kind of getting into film, right? And he'll call me and be like, "Yo, what you doing right now?" I'm like, I'm watching film right now. And I really was. I wasn't trying to bullshit. I wasn't trying to bullshit him. And I really was. And he was like, "All right, cool. Fast forward, third quarter, 4 minutes left in the game. What do you see right here?" And that's something that's just stuck out to me. Like, this guy's in his, like, it might have been his 14th year, 15, something like that. I don't remember what year it was for him, but he's been in the league for so long, and he's still just like that's engraved into him. It's his DNA. It's what makes him so smart, what makes him so great. And, that's something that's just really, really always stuck with me. And, to this day, I watch film at all times. Like, this whole September, we've had, a lot of open runs with the team, and the guys are here. And I'm always asking for film of just the open gym, just to watch. And, it's just something that I really like to do, and it just helps me out. It's, film gives you the answers to the test.
You mentioned being a film addict. I read you, if you weren't in the NBA, be coaching basketball. So,
Coaching?
Yeah, no?
Nah. Once I'm done, I'm done. I'll go on to something else.
But yeah, obviously you have that. What do you hope the Wizards, if you were, not into coaching basketball, but what do you hope this team looks like? This is.
We're a young team. I think that's one thing that, obviously sticks out, but, we have a good blend of guys that are that experienced as well. I wouldn't necessarily say totally veteran, but, seasoned players. So you look at guys like Beal, obviously he's a vet, superstar player. Spencer's been in the league for years. KCP's been, I think he might be year 7 or 8 or something right now. Me being seasoned in year 5, and Bertans and Neto and guys that can really help these young guys just really, just turn up their learning curve. And I think that's the biggest thing, because when you look at an NBA roster and the NBA landscape, the teams that are winning are usually veteran teams. So in that department, we have like a lot of work to do from a standpoint of just like catching up terminology. And we all do, because it's a new coach and new staff, and, everything's, kind of fresh juice around here. So I think the biggest thing is just obviously gelling, understanding our strengths and weaknesses as a team and individually, and then also applying what coach wants us to do on the court, and letting that stick and marinate. So DA, how we doing? You good? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
I always wonder what happens when a guy gets traded, just kind of mentally, how you kind of recalibrate. You're in one headspace, you're in one place. You have a certain set of expectations because of the people you play with and coaching style of play. And all of a sudden, that has to be completely shifted because you have a new set of teammates, new coach, new philosophy. How do you kind of reset your head?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to reset, well, it was multiple things, but for me, the biggest thing was, just really processing, like moving. That was the biggest thing for me, because, living in LA for 4.5 years, that's all I know. And, that's home even to today. I have my homes there, and that's where I live in the off seasons. But I think from a basketball strategic standpoint, I was happy to go just because I know what I can do in my career and what I want to do and want to accomplish. But, there definitely are some changes. I think that, there's been a lot of times, and the coaches have, implemented a little bit of the terminology from a defensive standpoint. And I keep getting caught saying, you know, what we've done in LA for years. And I'm messing up guys sometimes when I'm yelling, you know, a certain type of call for switch or, you know, to get into a pick and roll coverage because it's just ingrained in me. So that's a process, but, you know, that took about 2 weeks and I'm pretty good now. So.
Did you need to know Brad was going to be here to feel like, okay, we can make something happen here?
I mean, obviously he's top 3, 4, whatever you want to call it, top offensive player in the league. You know, he's a guy that's averaged 30 in this league and has averaged over 27, 28 for multiple years. So, you know, obviously when you have a guy like that and someone that's super, super explosive that can take over games and really, you know, cause a lot of havoc on opposing defenses, it's going to bode well for you. And, you know, I think we have great guys to, you know, mesh within what he does. And, you know, that's what it's about, you know, so, you know, playing with other star players, I kind of know how to, you know, figure it out and mesh in and, you know, see what works. So, you know, I'm very excited. I feel like, you know, we have, like I say, a great mix of young guys and seasoned guys to, you know, do something in this league. So.
And we'll take one more off of Zoom. Dan, go ahead.
Hey, Kuz, Dan Wacky with the LA Times. We'll miss you out here. And good luck with everything in DC. I have a question. I know you said that the vaccination thing for you was personal. When people hear that, I think they automatically assume, okay, well, that guy hasn't gotten vaccinated. Are there reasons, or can you think of personal reasons why you wouldn't want to share it, even if you have? Is that part of the calculus when we hear that? Because we either hear guys say that they've got it, they haven't gotten it, or it's personal. And I think people always lump the personal into, well, they didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you know, it's the same thing when, you know, when you're in the media and somebody as a player has some negative thing around them and you ask that question and they go no comment, you also automatically think it's a bad thing. But for me, you know, I think, you know, certain things in health or whatever you may go about, you know, things should be personal, and especially for us as athletes and the platforms that we have, we don't get a much private time and much freedom in that nature. So, you know, I believe certain things, you know, should always be kept in the house because, one, how the world is now today, you know, it's much better to stay as private as you can, if that kind of makes sense. And, you know, that's not a bad thing. You know, it's not a wrong thing to ask for. So, you know, certain players may go about that in their life because of that simple reason. And, you know, I don't think it's no right or wrong to that. So.
Thanks, Kuz. Good luck, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're a rookie, brother. Still love you, y'all.
Welcome back. Welcome to DC, man.
Thank you.
Just like I just asked Cool, like when a guy gets traded, you coming from a certain place with certain expectations, coaching staff has a certain way of coaching things, players that you're playing with maybe have different expectations. How do you recalibrate, reset when you're all of a sudden with a different group of players, different group of coaches, different set of expectations?
I mean, this ain't my first trade, so I mean, I ain't in that same boat of schools. I was traded first time from Houston to the Clippers, so it's not nothing differently from how I went into that mindset. You know, just going in looking to do anything I can to help my team win and put myself in best position to be able to be on the floor to help them do that. I don't look at it any differently than I went into that process with. Really, you know, this is my first time playing on the East Coast, being on the part of an East Coast organization, so. 3 hours from my hometown, home state in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. So my family's going to be up here a lot to watch me play. I'm excited and I can't wait to, you know, get started.
Do you know that, like, as soon as you hear it, you're going to the Wizards, you automatically know, oh, I can help them do this. I know I can do this for them. I know I can, or do you have to wait and see?
I got to wait to see because, I mean, at the end of the day, man, we don't even know what our lineup is really going to be, man. We know only one person that's going to be out on that floor for sure, and that's Bradley Beal. Everybody else around him, it's still up for determination. We got a brand new coaching staff. We got new coaches. It's new, you know, a new floor field throughout this whole organization, man. So we're going to have to do it together.
if it is a bench role that you end up settling into, you've had obviously a lot of success coming off the bench, 6 man of the year. What has led to that? What are the keys to being good off the bench?
I'm gonna look at it the same process and the same mindset that I looked at it when I won and when I was in the argument the year before. Honestly, man, I'm blessed to be able to be around veterans that I know how to play that role. I had one of the best guys who might go down in history to ever do it, win the award in Lou Will, and he's a best friend, a guy that I talk to on a consistent basis and somebody I look at as a mentor. So I got the tools around me that, just basically put me in a position to be able to know how to handle those type of things, really. And I just, became a complete sponge and, jail to it, really.
Welcome to DC. I'm wondering what your first impressions of Coach Untitled are. He's obviously new here. It's his first time as head coach. A lot of guys have kind of described him as somebody just with very open communication. What are your kind of first thoughts on that?
I would agree, because, even when we've been playing pickup, he's been doing his, basically his job of coaching us on different type of things he wants done as far as the defensive end for sure. Offensively, we're still gonna have to learn and gonna have to gel with, multiple pieces being inserted into different positions. But on the defensive end, he definitely has, came in early to set the tone that, this is how we want to play defense. We don't want to be one of those teams that continuously think, we're going to just try to outscore teams and not going to have to guard nobody. So it's definitely one of the biggest things that we're, he's definitely focusing on for us. And we need those type of things, because when you're in a situation like this with, new players, new coaches, new organization almost, it's going to take a collective group. It's going to take everybody. And it starts with the head coach. And just for him to be in there while we're, not really technically have to be in here, but he's, in here early with us, showing us he's bought into the organization there and the program, just like how we are.
And I'm wondering if there are kind of vocal leaders who have already emerged just from when you guys have been in open gym, because Brad, we've talked for years about how he's kind of more of a show don't tell type of guy. KCP's in here saying he wants to be more vocal and stuff. You got a bunch of low-key guys on this roster. Do you feel like someone's going to kind of emerge, or a couple people are going to kind of emerge as the big talkers?
I don't know, probably me, honestly.
That's a good answer.
Honestly, probably me. I don't know. I'm one of those guys who, I don't really bite my tongue as far as nobody. I don't really care who it is, honestly, because, when we're all out on that floor, it's all planned for one goal. It's all planned for one mindset, to try to complete one task. So there's no egos, or there should be no feelings tied into it out there. And, I think these guys know that I'm going to be a person that, plays with 110% effort, leave it all out on the floor, do anything I can to help these guys and help this organization put ourselves, in a chance to win, just like I've been doing the previous years in this league, really. Now I just think I'm going to be able to do it in a more role to where my voice is heard a little bit more. I mean, I've been in locker rooms where I was able to have my input on certain situations. I definitely think definitely a lot with the Clippers. Before we got the 2 star player guys that we got there. But, I've been in situations to where I know how to do it. Every player is different. Everybody's role is different. But, like I said, it's still going to be up for coach to kind of determine those type roles. But amongst each other, I think we're going to kind of, know who is who.
Justin Kutcher, I did the play-by-play on TV. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Really happy to have you here. A couple of questions. One, you mentioned learning from Lou Will about what it means to be coming off the bench and being that 6th man. What is it that he taught you, that he said to you, to be that 6th man?
You see him winning the year before?
Yeah.
You see me win the next year?
Yeah.
Guess he said the right things. I mean, he's a guy, just look at his career, man. He's a guy who's been in this league. I don't think he's had a max contract, but you always hear his name. He's a guy that hasn't been on a team where he started, but you always hear his name. So he's just a guy basically that learned how to basically, he didn't put himself in a position where he's coming off the bench. That's what the coaches put him in. So he said, if y'all gonna put me in this position, then I'm going to be the best at this position. I'm going to excel in it to point to where now you're gonna have to give me an award every year for it. And I can't do nothing but respect it because I know him off the court. I know the father he is off the court. I know the brand ambassador, the hard work he puts in his craft, not just the basketball game, but as a businessman. I mean, Lou is a very smart, talented person, man. A lot of people think just because he's, missing in songs about having 2 girlfriends and all that stuff like that, man. That man is extremely. It's the reason why he's missing these songs. He's an icon, legend, and and it's really a reason why he's called the underground GOAT. It's a reason for that.
For you, going back to college and then being in the NBA, you've been undersized, but you always seem to rise to the occasion. What is it? Is it playing with a chip? Is it something else? How have you been able to almost exceed and always perform up to a certain ability?
I don't know, bro. I'm a dog, bro. I ain't got no other place to put it, bro. I don't really all that height stuff and rankings and all that. I mean, it really don't matter, bro. You got to prove that once you get inside these 4 lines. That's where I came from. That's why it's the only way I've known how to be able to play the game. I'm born and raised 3 hours from here, man. And that's what it's taught me. Like, we don't really care what your name is. We don't really care who you are. Once you step inside those lines, you got to prove that you is the person that they say you is. And a lot of times, I've come to see a lot of these people that, supposed to be these people, not really these people. Once you pull that card, there's a lot of stuff that gets, exposed to the light. And can't nobody save you when you're inside them 4 lines. Can't talk your way out of that. So, like I said, bro, I'm just different. I mean, I look at myself as a dog. I don't look for nobody to give me nothing. I don't look for nothing to be handed to me. I'm going to take what's mine.
Dave Johnson, you do the radio play-by-play, again, welcome to DC as well.
Thank you.
Given what you were just talking about, as you look at this collection of players you've spent time with them, what excites you most about the potential that the Syracuse did?
Because we got a great group of guys, man. We got a mix of guys that are supposedly veterans, I guess, because I'm looked at as a veteran. I'm only 27. KCP is looked at as a veteran. I think KCP is like, 28, 29. Brad is one, like same age, man. Then we got a lot of great young guys, man. Aaron is one back there, man. He's only been in this league for 4 years, but he's had a hell of a career in Indy. And I hated him while he was there, by the way. Hell of a pest. But, man, like, we got a lot of great guys on this team, man, that we're going to do something special, I think, man. I think everybody's overlooking us, and that's what we're okay with that. We're not coming out here saying like, oh, we're about to be the best team in the East. We're not saying any of that. Keep overlooking us. Keep, writing us off of however you want to do it. We're fine with that. We know the work that we're going to put in. We know the work that we have been putting in, leading up to this training camp in the previous weeks. So coming in, playing pickup, lifting weights and stuff. So we're not really asking for nobody to, put us nowhere. We're going to put ourselves in positions to, be whatever we want this team to be, really.
COVID has affected the last 2 NBA seasons pretty dramatically in different ways. This year, obviously, it seems like vaccination status is shaping up to be a big storyline. There's different rules for vaccinated and unvaccinated players. What do you make of all that and how it could play such a...
I don't know, brother. It ain't got nothing to do with me, honestly. I got vaccinated throughout the season last year, and that's all that matters. Everybody else has their different beliefs. Everybody else has their different reasons why. That's on them. I mean, I can't tell nobody that he's wrong for not getting the vaccination because this man feels his God-given right or his God-given belief that he shouldn't have it. I'm not going to tell him that. That has nothing to do with me. I got vaccinated because I have 2 smaller kids. I'm traveling around. I have an aunt who's on dialysis and things like that. I'm not going to run the risk of taking this virus, this disease into a space with them and then causing them to get sick. I'm not going to do that. So the reason why I got the vaccination is to protect the others around me. As far as any other player, why he gets it or why he doesn't, that's him. That's what you got to ask him.
Answer my second question.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that you really hated Aaron when he was in Indiana.
Yes.
Do you, are those the guys you want to play with? Then?
Yes, 100%. Because I go throughout the league and even playing in Drew leagues and playing pickup and Rico pickups, man, I come across some of the NBA's best that say the same thing about me. So, I mean, that's the type of people that you want on your team, though, because when it's all said and done, no matter what, that, he left it all out there. You ain't gonna never have to second guess or be like, was he playing hard tonight? Was he, trying to do the right thing to win? Like, no, for sure that he was trying to do those things because he showed it and proved it to you, and that's all I've seen from him. Like I said, since, competing against him. Like I said, I couldn't stand him in Indy.
hell of a pass man up and down the floor. He's one of those guys that, honestly, I look at him as, one of those Pat Bev type players. Going to get up, press you full court, control the pace of the game, both ends of the floor. He's a hell of a young player, and I can't wait to just get out on the floor and, us to start proving and putting together.
Do you tell him that the first time you meet him, or you're like, man, you know the shit out of me?
No, I didn't say anything to any of these guys, man. I kind of just like I said, I'm one of those guys that kind of sit back and kind of, let the, room kind of gravitate to me, man. Everybody knows that I'm gonna be the same guy Monday through Sunday, man. I ain't gonna really change up. I ain't gonna shoot you no lie, but I'm not gonna be the one to kind of come in and just start there, engage the conversation really. But when the start get going, you're gonna hear me in the room.
We'll take one off of Zoom here and then move on to Aaron. Penny, you've been waiting patiently. Go ahead.
I didn't hear who was called, but Trez, can you tell us about the Trez one that's coming out or that's already out, and just take us through that process of you and Devlin's relationship?
All right. Much respect for seeing that too, bro. But it was a year process of just going back and forth, talking about concepts and different shoes that I kind of gravitated to, I liked, and what I would kind of want to see in my shoe. It was a year process of just going back and forth doing that. Basically, images, sending him different shoes and circling different highlights of I like about the shoe, what I don't like about the shoe. Kind of going back and forth, just really just communicating through text messages. But the thing that I really admire the most about our conversation or about our whole, business in general is just because how he went about us doing the business. Anybody else out here doing shoes of a celebrity, I guess you want to call it, or a person in my stature was to reach out to you and be like, hey, I want to, do this with you as far as shoes or whatever. Instantly I jump, hey, let's do it. You feel me? But no, this man, he stuck to his principles. He said like, hey, like, I respect you reaching out. I'd rather want to meet with you in person so I can kind of see how you feeling about the shoe and if you're really serious and if it's really going to be worth the both of our time, because I really don't want to waste neither one of our time. I can't do nothing but respect a man like that because he didn't let the, stature of my job or the person that I am just make him change his principles. He stuck to his principles and, like I met with him, man, he came down with his wife and his kids, man. We had a great meeting. It was amazing, man. And, like I said, over this year-long process, man, this is what you have, the end product of, what I just been posting on Instagram and social media, man. I can't wait to really get it out there in the mass production. I think we're going to try to have it out there by Christmas, but definitely in the start of January. So it's a big accomplishment for me. It's a big, change, honestly, because, you don't see players doing this. I think the last person you've seen doing this was the Ball family when he came in with, doing Alonzo and all them shoes. But even with them doing that, it was great movement and definitely one that opened my eyes because something I had been looking at, but they didn't even really stay in doing it that long. I'm looking to do it to the point where I really, become a household name into the sneaker world and, hopefully actually get other, NBA hoopers in my shoes as well.
Appreciate that, Trez. It's a nice shoe, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Trez.
Thank y'all.
You're a pest.
I heard too, man.
What are your just first impressions of getting on the floor with these guys and kind of how the chemistry is coming together so far?
It was exciting. First time playing since we lost to the Wizards actually last season in the playing game. So it was exciting for sure. Getting ready to get started in the season, and I'm excited for what we have going forward. We have a bunch of great group of guys who work hard, just give it their all, even in pickup. So I'm very excited to get started.
What does a new space, a new team, whatever, do for a young guy like yourself in your career in terms of your mindset? Like, do you come up with a different set of goals? Or are you saying, okay, this is my chance at a new start? Where's your kind of head at about that stuff?
A little bit of both. It's a chance for a new start for sure. In Indy, didn't go the way I wanted it to, obviously, but again, it's a learning experience. I have the same goals, just to be the best I can be, help my team win as many games as possible, and really play great on-ball defense and help defense. Those are things that I really think I could bring to the team and show more than I did in Indiana.
Aaron, Justin Kutcher, I did the play-by-play on TV. welcome to the team.
Appreciate it.
I'm one of 4 in my family.
All right.
And we always talked about it whenever we had Indiana last year in Milwaukee,
Mhm.
that you and your brothers, all 3 of you guys are in the league.
Mhm.
What was it like growing up in that house and how competitive was it?
Extremely competitive. We obviously competed at everything, all the way up to my parents, my cousins. I have a sister who's 3 years older than me. So we just competed, and that's probably what molded us into who we are today. So it was great getting out there just playing against each other all the time.
Obviously, your brother won a championship in Milwaukee.
Hmm.
What was that like, watching him accomplish that?
It was awesome. I actually have 2 brothers who have championships now. So the first one was the same way. It's a great experience for me just getting out to, he was with the Warriors at the time, Justin was. So yeah, it was a crazy experience. I enjoyed every bit of it. And then being able to go out there to Drew's with Justin, that was just a great family experience.
And then the last question I'll ask is, how much trash talking goes on between all of you?
Not really, not much trash talking. I mean, we're just all happy for each other, honestly. We can care less about all the trash talking, but we're just happy to be out there and play and represent our family.
And welcome to DC as well.
Appreciate it.
Being outside of the radio for the team, is that pest mentality that Trez was talking about? Is that come from that family environment you were in? You had to scratch. And
Yeah,
claw early?
for sure. I had to obviously grow up playing against Justin, Drew, and my sister, who are all older than me. So back in the day, they were all bigger than me. So I had to obviously do what I can to stay out there and just try to get some wins or some baskets or just get the ball, like playing 21 or something, you know? So I guess it could come from that, being a pest, trying to be physical with them and just try to win.
As this team tries to get better on defense, obviously you play against this,
Mhm.
this is a new team, a new collection. What do you think are the key components of a defensive journey? Because it's not going to happen overnight.
It's not, but Coach West does a great job of communicating us, and having a good structure is one main thing that we need. Just the simple base and just growing from there, whether that's we need to play harder here, we need to do this better. So I think a good structure would help us in the long run for sure.
I guess speaking of that, 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago in Indiana, you guys had some really good defenses under Nate McMillan. What did you kind of take from that as a young player? What did you learn that kind of will stay with you for the rest of your career in terms of just the principles?
Just how he taught us defense, pretty much. It was just, we drilled it every day. We did the shell drill, we did multiple defensive drills. So it's kind of second nature to us. So I think that's one thing that obviously moving forward that we need as a group and as an individual, just continuously drilling what coach needs us to do and wants us to do.
And Spencer Dinwiddie is known for his defense to a degree, Holland Neto as well, and you, that's 3-point guards, the whole rotation could defend. Just what do you think that could do for this team to just have interchangeable defensive parts like that?
Man, it could do a lot. Again, I'm excited for this season because of how good we can be defensively. And I know we can score with anybody in the league. So once we get our defense down, I think we'll be pretty good.
And I guess one more question, just kind of what are your first impressions of DC? I'm sure you've traveled through here, obviously, but
Yeah. It's nice. It's awesome. My first time being in DC, I came for a workout pre-draft in 2018, but just being able to see the city, all the monuments, everything, it's pretty dope. I'm enjoying it for sure. What'd you say?
If you're like the city sucks, would you tell us?
Yeah, for sure would take it. For sure.
Just real quick, you talking about your brothers and your sister,
Mhm.
and just the way you handle yourself and the way all of you guys handle yourselves. What was it that your parents drilled into you as kids that led to you be these great adults?
Just the belief in God. That's probably the main thing they installed in us. We're all Christians, so we believe pretty much God's will be done. That's one main thing that they really installed in us at an early age, and just believing that gives us confidence. Even just our parents giving us confidence, pretty much telling us, not what you can be, but you know how you should act. You know what you should do. Just make the right decision, and that stuck with me for my whole life, entire life until now. So.
And we'll take one on Zoom from Beal.
Aaron, you talked about it with Raul and, Spencer. You obviously want to have, a role here. How do you feel that you can, carve out minutes in what might be a, tight rotation with all the depth with Coach Unseld?
It's not my job to discuss, honestly. I'm just here to hoop. So however coach decides to play us, that's how he decides. I'm gonna go out there and play hard whenever I can. Appreciate it.
Hey. Hey, so I don't think we've had a chance to talk to you since the summer league, but is that experience of, fade away in the past and the dust is settled, kind of what do you take away from it now looking back?
Yeah, I mean, it was a shock to me. I mean, it's going to be this way in the NBA too, how quickly you have to prepare for games or how quickly you have to, get ready to play. You'll have a day, maybe 2 days or even 12 hours to get ready for a team in the NBA. And that just wasn't the case in college. So kind of was thrown into the fire that way with some of the hurdles we had to jump over as a team in summer league. And it was a good kind of test run for what's coming this year.
What are your objectives, your approach as you enter your first NBA training camp?
I'm just trying to be who I am, be me. It's gotten me this far and I hope to, have it carry me for the rest of my career. So no plans on changing anything up, just going out there and playing as hard as I can and let the chips fall where they may.
You might answer that a little bit just then, but have the coaches said, okay, here's what we want to focus with you in year one or the first 6-month block or whatever like that? Have they kind of given you guidelines and this is what we need to tackle first?
Not really. I mean, thankfully there's nothing like extraordinarily new that I'm needing to work on. Like it's all just kind of, honing in on certain parts of my game that I'm probably going to use more than others and perfecting those. So, it's been great. The coaches have been awesome and I've been on the floor and in the gym a lot. And I've seen, strides even since I've gotten here a couple weeks ago.
Have you been able to latch on to anybody yet and just be like, great, I'm going to follow you around. I'm going to learn from you. You're my guy.
Yeah. So, Anthony Gill is a maniac. Yeah. He works so hard and, whether I'm going to, still enjoy it or not, 5 months from now, he and I do some conditioning after practice together. So I see how much he runs around, how good a shape he's in, and I want to be exactly that way.
Corey, you played for Mark Few at Gonzaga. There are certain coaches that seem to develop guys for the NBA. What is it about Coach Few that you think helps prepare you for what's ahead?
Yeah. I think it's just the way he plays, I mean, he puts you in, he's really good at putting you in spots that you'll be successful in. He only wants you to do, what you're capable of. He's not asking you to do anything crazy. And I think, the way that we played last year was about as similar to an NBA team as you can find in college basketball. So, a lot of the terminology is the same. A lot of the pace of play is the same. And, he's been around the block, Coach Few has. So, I trust him absolutely with my game.
Obviously, everyone knows you as a shooter. So how many shots would you say you get up on an average day?
Yeah, that's a tough question to ask to answer because I don't think, and any shooter at this level will tell you that if you go in the gym and you sit in the corner and you shoot, 700, 800, 900,000 shots, like what's that doing for you? So if I can get in here for 45 minutes, work my tail off, get up a really good sweat and shoot game shots. Like even if I shoot 200 of them, then that's going to do way more for me than getting 1,000, catch and shoot standstill ones. So it differs day to day, but it's never, I'm working hard while I'm shooting. So it's about 45 minutes or so.
Corey, I'm Dave Johnson, I do the Woods Radio so often.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You latched on, you just said to a maniac and Anthony Gill and if you were still in college, you wouldn't be starting practice for another couple of weeks. Just how has this transition been with so much going on from a maniac to summer league to you're already working out before training?
Well, I want to clarify. I mean, maniac, like in a really good way, yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, because that's a lot going on. How are you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, before I got here and even, while I was here, I felt like I've been living out of a suitcase for like 2 months. And it was tough. It was tough to bounce around and be in different places and, sleeping in different beds and stuff like that. It's something that I'm just not used to. So now that I'm here, I do feel like I can take, some deep breaths and really settle in. And, thankfully we've been in town for a while. So There is a routine. Being here is familiar. And, getting started in training camp tomorrow is going to be, just kind of hitting the ground running.
We have asked you a few times about Rui. Unfortunately, he's not here. Just, I guess, what are your thoughts on just the fact that one of the key players on this team is not here?
Yeah, it's just, well, first of all, it's just yet another example of how much more goes into a basketball player than what they do on the court, and Rui's, so much goes on in Rui's life from a very young age. And even while I, had the pleasure of playing with him at Gonzaga, there was just so many things going on that, would be hard to juggle. So, I mean, whatever and however much time he needs is what he needs. And, he'll be back with us shortly, and I can't wait for it. And circling back to your question, I can't wait. Rui's been my guy for a long time, and we played together for a long time, and can't wait to kind of pick up our chemistry where we left it in Spokane.
And what do you make? We've been asked a lot of players about this. What do you make of just how clearly vaccines are going to be a big storyline this season, and players who have gotten them and who haven't are kind of under different guidelines? Just kind of what's your perspective on that?
Yeah. I mean, it's all about, at the end of the day, like, it's our job to be on the floor. So, whatever you think is best for you and in that regard, and how you can get out there on the floor, compete, and stay healthy throughout the season, that's kind of the main objective and the main goal. So, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out, 6 months from now, because it looked a lot different 6 months ago.
And we've also been asking this to a lot of players. Have you been vaccinated? Yeah.
We'll take a few from Zoom, Glenn.
Hey, Corey. It was nice meeting you earlier, right when you got drafted, and your folks as well. Question I have for you is, Coach West said that you really have looked good since over the summer, since you've been drafted. There was that gap of time to get yourself prepared for now. What areas do you think you've improved in during that short period of time, and including summer league?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it could be really easy to kind of let yourself slip with all the traveling that you're doing. You got to do everything you can to stay in shape, show up here in shape and ready to go. And thankfully the formula has always been pretty simple for me. Like, I'm not trying to, overhaul anything or overcomplicate stuff. And I have something that I have routines and stuff that I stick to. And, I just kind of stayed in that zone up until I got here and was able to kind of, like I've said earlier, hit the ground running.
And what are some of the things that you feel, aside from shooting, that you can contribute as a rookie? Because you got to absorb, the language, the new game now, the elite athleticism, the speed of the game. But what are some of the other things that you think you can contribute?
Yeah, absolutely. A level of maturity. I played a lot of basketball, played a lot of games. And while I haven't played any at this level, I feel like I've seen just about everything that you can. Yes, the athleticism goes up, the speed of the game goes up, the talent goes up. But fundamentally, it's all, it's the hoop's 10 feet high and the free throw line's 15 feet away, so just a level of maturity that I think, the learning curve will be a little less steep for someone like me.
Thanks.
Neil.
Hey, Corey, good to see you again. Obviously, there are some really good shooters on this team. Brad, Davies, Kuz. Have you guys gotten a chance to do any shooting drills and try and outdo each other?
Nothing formal yet. We have plenty of time to get that done and make that happen. And I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Let us know when it's happening. We need that on film.
Cool.
And forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, Fracamente. Not there? Okay, Andrew, go ahead. Andrew Gillis.
My bad, sorry, couldn't hear you there. Corey, you mentioned kind of adjusting to the speed of the game. Obviously that kind of changes. Is it just game action that, kind of acclimates you to the NBA level? I mean, is there anything you can do kind of out of game to kind of help you adjust with that?
No, I mean, you can watch all the film you want, but as soon as you step on the floor, it just becomes different. So, playing pickup and just moving and playing with the guys that are on the floor has helped me a ton. And that's been the biggest key for, someone new like me, is just getting on the floor and playing pickup and getting up and down.
Thanks.
Next Corey.
Cool.
Good, very good. What is going into this training camp like compared to last time around? Obviously, this last offseason was so short. It was there were some challenges getting started. How are things different for you now?
I was here before Labor Day, so that's, I guess that's the biggest difference. I've had plenty of time to acclimate and get used to being here again, and I think that's the biggest deal. And getting on the court with guys playing 5-on-5, that's like, you can't beat that right before the season.
Yeah, what has that helped, as far as your game and your conditioning? I would imagine it's a pretty big difference.
Yes, I'm definitely ready for the season. Last season I ended up with the end of season with the calf injury that basically took half of the summer to get that right. Then I played with the national team a few games, and then a couple more weeks at home, just individual work, and then came here.
You are fully recovered from that, right?
Yes, yes.
Did you have to work on strengthening that in the second half? You could actually be.
Unfortunately, I don't like to admit that, but I'm getting up there in the age, so I'm gonna have to keep working on that for the rest of my career. Probably, it's just those things starting to add up, and had the 2 ACL injuries early on. That was the main focus, always keeping the knee okay. Then the calf injury, then you add another thing. So hopefully I don't get to working on my whole body just for hours a day just to being okay.
What are your first impressions of your new coach you got?
Talked to him briefly, just being around him during the practice, him just having us in, he asked most of basically all the guys to come in as early as possible, just so we can get used to the coaches, the new teammates and everything. And, he's asking for a ball movement, which I think is a great thing in basketball. And, we'll see now in the training camp, when we're gonna be working more and more on the stuff that we need for the season. It was more of just playing basketball and just doing a little bit of the team stuff, just trying to figure out the systems already. And now we're really getting to dig into it.
Jarvis, last year was such a crazy year for you to come over. You talked about how you had to work yourself back into shape. When you just walked in the room and I saw you, I was like, whoa, like you look like you're in the best shape of your career. I know that people always say that at the beginning of training camp or whatever. I feel like I'm in the best shape. Do you actually feel like that right now?
I would say definitely got the most work done this past summer. It was about 6 weeks of almost no basketball and just getting the body right, which, from the past, when I had the ACL injuries, I think every time I had that injury, the first year back was the best one of all time. So, so hopefully we can continue that. It's a good, the injury is a good reminder that it's not that easy, and it gives you like a chance of like hitting the reset button and just starting from almost zero to kind of build it back up.
And one thing about you that I think everyone in DC loves is your confidence. Whether it was Scott Brooks used to talk about your confidence or whatever. Last year there seemed to be a time where it was shaken, and you had that chance to restart. Do you think, or have you been thinking in the offseason about, I know how good of a shooter I am. I want to get back out there and show everyone, dude, like I'm that guy.
I think it's even less of showing everybody else. It's just showing myself that last year was just one of those years that you kind of want to forget. And, that at the end of my career, I could say, okay, that 1 year was it was something out of the ordinary, and you know, keeping this season and next season as consistent as possible. You know, you're never gonna have. I don't think you're ever gonna have a shooter that goes the whole season long and all 8-9 months of shooting at 45%, 50%, and there's always gonna be that, you know, that dip in the percentages, and that kind of tests you a little bit. I think I still remember like some of the guys like Klay Thompson, you know, probably one of the best catch and shooters in the league in the history of the game, and like even he was ask him a question of, so what do you do? Like, you know, the percentage go down, like you can't make shots. Well, you can't stop shooting, like you keep shooting, like that's the only way you can get back. Like you keep shooting in practice and you keep shooting in games.
You used to shoot with a broom in your face when you're back, so no big deal, right?
Yeah, I'm actually having one of the coaches sometimes just foul me all the time when I'm shooting threes, and have a little bit of fun with that. And you know, in the games very often there's some contact made that is not enough for a foul call. So, you know, got to work on that as well.
What excites you most about this collection, and how it can help you, and how you see this team playing out?
Well, since we got some guys that have been traded here, as from my own experience, you know, getting traded is not a great feeling like somebody's giving up on you, and it gives you like extra motivation, and at the same time a great opportunity, a new place that actually wants you here. So I think it's going to be a great place for the guys that are new to this team, this summer additions, and waiting for TB to come back. You know, Deni's back from his injury. He's going to be ready for the season, right? And yeah, you know, having all the guys healthy and all the new guys on the team, kind of, you know, the main goal is right now just to kind of put it all together and find that chemistry as soon as possible. You know, it won't be a surprise if it's a little bit of a struggle early on the season. You know, you can't just throw guys together and expect us to play great immediately, and hopefully we can do that as soon as possible.
Going back to your confidence as a shooter, I know you probably think you can measure up against anyone in a shooting competition, but just what are your early impressions of Corey Kispert as you see him kind of firing it from long range out there in practice?
Yeah, since we had those scrimmages, he's making shots. You know, he's getting the open looks and making them. That's probably the most important thing. You know, when you're open, you make them. Especially as a rookie coming in, like nobody expects him to come out and shoot crazy shots and make those. And you know, maybe eventually he'll get there, but as long as he's making open shots, teammates going to trust him and probably going to get more and more better looks.
Last question to Neil.
Hey, Davis, good to see you. How much of, you know, all the ups and downs between injury, COVID, everything last year, do you think that impacted your defense? And how do you think that's going to improve this year under Wes Unseld Jr.'s defense?
Well, mostly in my opinion, defense is a team thing. And, you know, if we're going to have a good system and everybody's going to commit to it, I think we're going to all look better on defense. But of course, the injuries and last season not being in shape, it all affects a lot. And you can see that. I think last year was probably the only season besides the rookie year that, you know, other teams were just trying to have me switch on them and go ISO 1-on-1, which previously rarely happened. And if it did, then, you know, it rarely worked out for them. So hopefully me being in shape is going to be a lot better this year.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Davis.
Thank you.
That's it. Thanks, Davis.
All right. Thank you.
Doing good. And the boy is huge. For a 6-month-old. Like very.
Thank you.
How's the ankle feel?
Well, way better. I mean, the ankle's behind me right now. I did a great rehab for about like 6 months. We thought it was going to be shorter, but thank God I had a great staff around me that helped me rehab and get back on track as fast as I can. So I'm thankful for that.
And there's been a lot of talk from Coach Unseld and other Tom Shepard about how you might be able to be more of a playmaker this year, secondary on-ball playmaker. What's kind of your response to that? Is that I understand obviously you did more of that in your previous stops.
I mean, first of all, my first thoughts in this year's role is to help the team as much as I can. So whatever coach needs me to do or my teammates need me to do to make the team better, that's what I'm gonna do. So for me, I'm excited for a new year, new opportunities, new players that came, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, you never know what your role gonna be, but I'm positive. So.
You guys have obviously, I think, only been in open gym, not necessarily like.
I can't hear you well.
You guys have just been in open gym, not necessarily like working on teams yet or anything that much. But what is it like working with Spencer and having him? How is the offense different? Do you feel like your game is adjusting around basically all these new guys on the floor?
To be honest, I wasn't really on the court with him as much. I was still rehabbing, working out, getting in shape. They were playing open gym for sure, but I was looking from the side and like seeing them work out and play together. It seems good. I mean, they sharing the ball. I mean, we have great pieces that came along, Spencer and all the guys that came, the new guys that came too. And I think we're gonna do special things this year. I mean, Spencer's also coming back from injury. Everybody knows his skill and what can he do. And yeah, I'm excited to see what the new team's all about. So.
Was summer all about rehab for you, or were you able to kind of shift anything or focus on anything, add anything to the game?
Of course. Rehab for me was not just being in the gym and treating my ankle. Is also lifting weights, make sure I'm preparing, I'm preventing all the injuries possible, getting stronger, and yeah, working on my game. I mean, from my 3-point game to ball handling and you name it. I mean, I was grinding that summer. I was barely home. I was staying in DC almost the whole summer, so it means that means a lot to me that season and to get better in the future. So yeah.
Deni, first things first, Shana
Shana Tova.
With the injury,
yeah,
gives you some time before you can start the rehab to look back at your rookie year. What did you look back and learn and pick apart when you looked at your game?
I've learned tons. I can tell you that. I had a couple of situations last year that I started off the season, and then it was time that I was not really playing and didn't get almost any minutes. And then I was back in the rotation, and I was starting. Then I was on the bench. It was kind of a roller coaster for me, but I liked it. I mean, it puts me in challenges, and it made me stronger. And I knew like what's my role at any time, and it made me much stronger, like in the way that I can also come and affect off the bench and come in the starting five and do what I need to do to make the team better. It wasn't stable for me last year. As a rookie, you always going through a roller coaster, but I try to be as stable as possible, and I think it made me much stronger as a person, as a player.
Having said that, as you look forward to a year where now it's essentially a new team, what excites you most about the opportunity with this group of guys as you look at it?
What excites me is the rookie duties will be reduced. So that's a starting point for me. That's one last thing that I need to focus on. And just being more mature. I feel like I've been guarding guys. I've played on the NBA court. I ran with the best players in the world, and I know what's the feeling of it. Like in my first year, I was coming to a new team, a new gym. It was tough for me. I needed to adjust to the pace, to the defense, to everything, to the respect from the refs, everything. So now I'm way more experienced. I know where I'm at, what's my place. I know the gyms, the players. And it's less things to focus on. So hopefully it's a good starting point.
Deni, it's always an adjustment, as any rookie has to make an adjustment to the NBA. I wonder what the biggest adjustment was for you.
It's different for me than a lot of players that coming to the NBA because I didn't came from college. I came from EuroLeague and I played pro since I was 16. So it's just mostly the pace of the game. And I want to say also that nobody really was familiar with your game. Nobody really knew who you were. You need to earn respect. You need to earn the trust from your teammates, coaches, everything. And yeah, it was a whole, like, it was really like a big change for me coming here also culturally and also in basketball. But we're here now, you know, I broke through a lot of obstacles on the way. So let's just keep it going.
We only have time for 2 more questions, so we'll go to Neil and then me.
Hey, Deni, good to see you. You discussed with the local people in Israel that you guys tweaked your shooting mechanics a little bit. What was that process like, and how do you feel the fluidity of it is now?
I worked almost the whole summer with the trainer, Mike Davis. He's working with me on how I move on the court and how I get into my shot and how to use my legs and body way more efficient. And it was a big process for me because a lot of times I'll get tired. I won't have my legs with me. And he really did a great job of coming in with me every morning and just work out on the things that I need to be able to play as much games as I can, have my legs all the time. And hopefully it will pay off. So.
And you had touched on how Russ helped teach you, be a tough player. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? What specifically, and how do you hope to, continue that on in your career?
Russ made me tough mentally, for sure. Like, playing with a great player like Russ, it wasn't easy, especially as a rookie. And he demands a lot of you from on the court, and I experienced it sometimes the hard way, whether it's like him shouting on me sometimes during the game, but I just want to say thank you to him because he just made me stronger. He helped me coming into the NBA and really make my mind better. So I need to thank him for great first year.
Thanks, Deni.
Thank you.
Hey guys, can I please get some questions in Hebrew?
If I'm okay with it, yeah, of course. It's easier for me.
אחלה, אהלן דני, חג שמח, מה העניינים?
חג שמח, מה קורה?
בסדר, אחלה. רציתי לשאול אותך כמה שאלות. הראשון באמת, דיברת על זה קצת עכשיו, על מה עבדת במהלך הפגרה, לשפר במשחק שלך. תספר לנו קצת על התהליך שנעשה מאחורי הקלעים.
תשמע, זה היה תהליך ארוך מאוד. נשארתי בוושינגטון כמעט כל הקיץ, היה לי מעט מאוד זמן בבית. הרבה דברים. הייתי בא ממש מוקדם בבוקר, אני יכול להגיד לך שהייתי קם לפעמים ב5:30, 6, כמעט כל בוקר, וכבר מ6 הייתי עובד בעצם עד 1 בצהריים, 2 בצהריים, שזה כמובן התחיל בחדר כושר, הרבה תרגילים, הרבה חיזוקים לקרסול, הרבה באמת תנועות שהייתי צריך לבצע בשביל באמת למנוע פציעות וגם לגרום לגוף להרגיש יותר נוח על המגרש. וגם על המגרש, אתה יודע, השלשות, הדברים שבאמת אני צריך לעבוד עליהם, הכדרור, אתה יודע, אני לא ממעיט בלעשות דברים על המגרש, אני באמת משתדל לעשות את כל הדברים שאפשר, גם כדרר, גם לקלוע, גם לשמור, אז אתה צריך הרבה זמן בשביל לעבוד על הדברים האלה. אתה יודע, אני לא שחקן שרק בא לזרוק שלשות, הוא שחקן שרק בא לעשות הגנה, אתה מבין? אז הרבה דברים שאני רוצה לעבוד עליהם, אז הרבה זמן שאני צריך לעבוד עליהם.
איך אתה חושב שצוות האימון החדש בכלליות, איך אתה תשתלב, ונצא לך לדבר איתם, איך אתה תשתלב במשחק או בסכמה התקפית בקבוצה?
אני מאוד אופטימי, אתה מכיר אותי, אני עד שאני באמת לא יצא לי ממש להכיר אותם ובאמת לשחק משחק שלם ובאמת להיות לצידם כל כך הרבה, אבל תשמע, אנרגיות מדהימות. באמת, באנרגיות של כאילו בא לנו להצליח, שבא להם לשפר אותך, שבאמת כיף להגיע לעולם ולעבוד כל בוקר, ואני באמת נהנה, אני מרגיש באמת בית. כבר שנה שנייה, ואתה יודע, כולם באמת בסדר גמור איתי. אין לי בכלל תלונות לגבי הצוות אימון החדש.
אוקיי, ושאלה אחרונה, רצינו לשאול את ברדלי ביל כאן, אבל לא יצא לנו, מה אתה חושב על הדירוג שלך בטוקי השנה?
מה אני חושב על הדירוג שלי בטוקי? תשמע, מבחינת שנה שנייה, קח את זה, אתה יודע, תמיד זה כיף לי לבוא ולראות באמת שאני נמצא במשחק שגדלתי עליו, אבל אני מאמין שאני אשתפר עם הזמן, אני מאמין שזה לא יהיה הציון הסופי.
אחלה דני, שיהיה המון בהצלחה.
תודה רבה רבה רבה. ביי ביי.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Thanks, man.
Shit, it's good, bro. It's been a long day though.
So last time we talked to you, you said, I think you're really close to getting cleared for 5-on-5 and challenges. So I guess just what's the latest coming out of the ACL as you look into training camp?
I anticipate being full going training camp. I played fives the last couple of weeks I've been out here with the team. I know in general we have a very dedicated, very thorough, sometimes conservative training staff. So they'll be watching me very, 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 very closely for the next 2 years. And I say 2 years not because I plan on leaving, but because they say that's the ACL window that they want to monitor me in. So, 3 years and beyond, please.
So will that be a factor this preseason? Do you expect to be limited, or will you play in the preseason?
I hope to play in the preseason. I mean, we'll see. I haven't spoken to them about the actual games. I don't know how our coaching staff approaches preseason in general. Some guys or some coaching staffs will say like, one game we're only going to play the training camp guys so that they can get a look, whether it's overseas or G League. So, I don't want to sit here and say I'm playing all 4 preseason games and then like they literally sit all of us and you guys call me a liar. So
We wouldn't do that to you.
Maybe DC media is nicer than New York.
I would say
I don't know.
When you arrive on a team with a guy like Brad, who's obviously franchise cornerstone, all that stuff, do you guys have conversations beforehand in terms of how you want to work together, what you want to get done together, or is it just like see you on the court?
No, like I've known Brad a little bit. Obviously, we're same age, so growing up playing against him, things like that. In general, I mean, talk to him during like the free agency process as well. And yeah, he knows that I'm here to help take the team to the playoffs, and hopefully beyond when the time is right, when we all get on the same page and everything. So, he knows that I'm here to aid him. Like that's my job.
And we're asking a bunch of guys, but are you vaccinated?
Yeah.
Is a follow-up to that just
No controversy over here, baby. Come on now.
Sorry, just as a follow-up to that, what do you make of just how that's going to play a factor this year? I'm sure you've seen your former teammate Kyrie has been a part of the storylines right now. No, maybe not specifically about him, but just generally how it's clearly going to be a factor, just like the bubble was 2 years ago and protocols for life.
Yeah. My healthy opinion on this is as long as Daniel Gafford is vaccinated and stays healthy, we have a fighting chance against every team in the league. I'm not just saying that because he's in the room.
So I'm gonna try it with you again. When a guy's injured, he's injured, he can't play. It's not a choice.
Yeah.
You can't play. If a guy gets suspended, it's not a choice, you can't play.
Yeah.
How will teammates react when a guy can't play because he chose not to get a shot?
I'm probably not the best guy to ask about this because I'm very much so like in a lot of ways, eat right, have healthy habits. Like you will take care of yourself. Like the body's a machine that's designed to heal itself in a lot of ways. Obviously, this is a very special circumstance. Also somebody that's relied on modern medicine for like my ACL surgeries, for example. So I do understand special cases, but there is that side of me too that says like, hey, like if that's fully what you believe, like I support it because part of my soul lives there too. So in terms of that conflict, I can't say that if I
wasn't in the NBA that I may look at this, a little bit differently. I think the job has a piece to play in this. And also my parents being a little bit older than normal 28-year-old parent age. But everybody has their own factors. Like it's a personal decision. I'm not going to be the guy that sits here and gets on somebody.
Spencer, welcome. I'm Dave Johnson of the radio for the Wizards.
What's up?
Dallas was just mentioning that, obviously he's been traded and come to a new team.
Mhm.
When you come to a new team, is there an edge or a chip or something, or what's your mental frame as you come to a new team? Or is there that mentality you want to show them?
Not so much. I mean, I think my time in Brooklyn was very interesting, right? If I don't go get hurt and we keep the same squad and go on to win a championship, whatever, you probably keep the team together, extend all that other stuff. So I'm probably there. With me being hurt and all the changes that were made and kind of being a little bit removed, you pretty much knew that I probably wasn't going to be on the Nets. So it wasn't like a love-loss situation because they also gave me an opportunity, 5 seasons ago. So, there had to be somebody that took a shot on me when I was in the G League. So I really appreciate that. And then more so now it's about like proving the Wizards right than anything. When somebody pays you, especially coming off an injury, like, even if you feel like you deserve it or underpaid or whatever you want to call it because of the caliber of player that you feel like you are, like the fact of the matter is you still, haven't played a minute post ACL yet, and they've taken a pretty large big bet, not just on you as a player, but also on you as somebody that can co-lead a franchise and help facilitate the elephant in the room, which is hopefully keeping, our cornerstone in the building. So, those are the things that I'm focused on, proving this organization right, helping Brad in any way I can, making sure that we continue to put our best foot forward so we can, in a year, 2 years, whatever it is, be a true contending team in a major city that has a political backdrop and would be phenomenal for us to be a staple in the NBA. There's no reason we shouldn't be. So that's more so the focus than anything in Brooklyn, because I genuinely do appreciate the years that I spent there.
Spencer, when someone has an injury like an ACL, everyone talks about the rehab, the process, but it's not until you get into a situation where you do something and you test it, that you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Have you had that moment yet where you did something and you're like, okay, I got it, I'm good now?
I dunked on Check Diallo about a month ago. Thought that was kind of nice. It's on Instagram. Y'all can catch me on Instagram, Spencer Dinwiddie. Go follow me. It's up there. Basically, I kind of sort of feel like I'm like almost back, but once again, like if I had that same type of move in training camp and I dunk on Gafford, then I know for sure like I'm really back for real.
Spencer, just because you mentioned being in DC and all that, obviously you're very kind of publicly thoughtful about a bunch of things outside of the league. Does it excite you kind of being in a city? Obviously, New York's a hub for a lot of things, but DC, you have politics, power, all that type of stuff. Or have you not thought about it? It looks like maybe you haven't thought about it.
No, I mean, no. Obviously, it goes without saying in terms of DC, how I want to step foot into that realm hasn't really occurred to me because we have more pressing issues. Like I want to continue to keep the main thing. Everything I listed there starts off with basketball. And quite honestly, people wouldn't even care about my affinity for cryptocurrency and the other stuff if I wasn't a basketball player and a high level one at that. I mean, I've been talking about crypto for 5 years. People didn't start caring until I started, going crazy. So like, that's just the real. That too. I think there's a learning curve and all that other stuff for the general public, but it's a lot more fun to say like skills challenge winner or potential all-star does this crazy crypto thing than like, hey, 5-point a game dude that doesn't play at all has a side business. Like it doesn't have the same ring to it. So, if you do your job, we get Brad to sign the Supermax, we go to playoffs. Yeah, maybe I'll go talk to Biden. Tax laws too, boy. You trying to kill me. Move to Puerto Rico, folks. Shit.
We'll go to Zoom now. We'll start with Neil.
Hey, Spencer, just what conversations have you started to have with Coach Unseld about, your role and how he feels you can fit into his offensive system and defensive system?
I I mean, in general, like obviously we talk about like schemes and things like that because obviously he's a coach and starting to put some of those things in place just over this kind of mini camp period. I mean, obviously the truth of the matter with the NBA is like some of that hierarchy is kind of established by how checks are written. So like I'm gonna play, obviously, like I'm gonna be the starting point guard. That's gonna be my role. Like, you know, I mean, I, I don't really know what else to kind of put on that one. That's probably a no-brainer.
That's fair. I guess how much feedback do you then give him and say, oh, hey, maybe this is something we can try, or is that still very early on in the process while you guys work things out?
I think it's early. I think so far he's talked about being collaborative for sure. But I think for me, especially with a new head coach, like the last thing you want to do is feel like you're trying to like step on toes or take control or anything like that. It's just, I don't think that lends itself to an effective relationship. So it's really more so about me learning right now. And as we continue to put all the systems in place and you know, learn the system, adopt it, all that stuff, that's where you ask for maybe a tweak here or there. But for now, it's about committing fully to it and giving all your energy and effort to the process of what he has set forth.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Spencer.
No problem. For two more questions, so we'll start with Christy and we'll go to
Oh, they cutting y'all short. Shout out Quentin. Christy, you good?
I cannot hear when you're calling a couple times today. I'm sorry. Spencer, when you spoke about taking pressure off of Bradley Beal, what specifically do you mean by that when you say taking pressure off of him and helping him out?
I mean, for me, I feel like my play style, if we look at just the Brooklyn years, it's been one that's been very malleable. You know, I would say first year I kind of came off the bench. Second year, I ended up having like high assist numbers. Third year, it was 6-man scoring punch off the bench. Fourth year, we're talking about like a guy who kind of led a team to the playoffs due to injuries to our 3 stars. And then obviously fifth year was more so like a Draymond role. Here, it'll probably be a lot of playmaking. Obviously, Brad, we hope to score 25, 30 points, whatever it is. Looking at a lot of the playmaking, making sure the ball continues to move and not stick. And then obviously probably taking on the second best player defensively. Looking at our lineup right now, you would assume probably Pope starts, given, you know, the environment that we're in right now. So I'm assuming he takes the best player. I would take the second best player. That frees up Brad to have a, you know, third, fourth, whatever option it is, especially with Kuz also being a quality defender. So, you know, just being another guy that can help in that area, obviously playmaking as well. So just all around whatever the team needs is kind of how I want to try to plug in and play, just albeit a little bit more dominant given the increased usage.
Right. And how do you approach identifying what the team's philosophy and personality will be going into training camp? Like, do you have an approach to that or what you want it to look like or feel like?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I think it's about being open. The quicker that I can kind of like learn the other players, what they like. For example, in a couple pickup games, I've identified, obviously Trez loves to play in the short roll. Obviously Gafford's a lob threat. Like these are all things that are going to make reads different, right? Depending upon the defenses we play, right? If Gafford's not as good in the short roll, then that means that if I want to get to that corner skip pass, and it's probably me making the pass. With Trez, sometimes going to be making that quick pocket, and I'm only going to get the hockey assist. So, you know, things are going to look different depending upon who you're playing with, who's in the corner. Am I trying to draw the defense down so they kind of play the corner pass so they don't look to the high slot because you have a better 3-point shooter there? Am I playing with a pick and pop 4? Like, what am I doing? Davis, he's going to be different. Is he hunting out, you know, a wide away screens in transition so that he can get his 3, you know, and playing quick pick and rolls or not? You know, I mean, there's so much nuance there. And then with Brad, it's just like, get out the way. You know what I mean? Like, how can I best get out of your way? So it's just about learning, honestly. And that's my approach to it. And once you kind of have that down, then that's when you can be more aggressive, more dominant, because, you know, I think the guys also trust you a little bit more to try to make the right decision. And I'm not just going out there just, you know, trying to just spaz all over the game.
Right. I love the tactical answer. Thank you so much.
No problem. Come on, Quinn. We've been waiting for you.
What's good, Spence? I got a quick one. I know you're trying to get out of here. Did you and John ever link on that NFT talk?
No, he didn't hit me back, unfortunately.
It's missing out. Are you excited about the Socios partnership the team now has?
No, I'm not, because I want my company Galaxy to buy the jersey patch and do the partnership, but the NBA has like rules against, guys not having, business deals with ownership or teams and all that stuff, which I thought was a complete crock of BS, because like really I would have paid full price for it. Like they were, I think, selling it for like 12 million or something like that. I was like, bro, like I will pay that. Like, can I just put my jersey patch? That would be so baller. Like, come to a new team in Capitol Hill, put the crypto patch on the jersey, and they shut all that down. So, NBA be hating. It is what it is, though.
Appreciate
also,
you, Spence.
last note too, Quentin thinks he can play with me basketball wise. He's off bath salts if he really thinks that. Yeah, that's really all I have to say to close out my media session. None of you guys can guard me, Gafford included. Have a great day.
Appreciate you.
No problem.
What's up? How y'all doing?
Good. So we talked to Coach Unseld, who said you're in great shape. You're right where they need you to be. I'm just curious what you did this offseason to get into such great shape.
I worked myself to exhaustion, and that's a Kobe quote. If anybody didn't know, what I really just take from that quote mainly is just the simple fact that he wanted to be better. The time that he had said that quote. So I mean, the mindset with this is just basically coming in and giving my all to the team. And me being in shape, that's going to help me out a lot for sure. So just really just working on my craft and working on my body throughout the whole summer. Like I didn't go home at all after the last game when we played Philly, came back, took about a week off, didn't go home, got back into the gym. That was just the main thing. I wanted to be better. I wanted to progress from the season the half of the season that I had after I came from Chicago, and be able to, put on top of like everything that I did and just build off of that. So that was just my main thing. So I really didn't I took a couple of vacation times. I didn't spend the whole summer working. I went back and forth to a couple of spots, with my family and stuff. But other than that, it was just my mindset was to get better throughout the whole summer.
Was it just playing hoops, or was there like a specific exercise that you worked in?
No, I mean, it was a lot. I worked on a lot of footwork. I worked on a lot of, facing up through, inside of the post, if I were to get it down there, just really just working on my jump shot as well, working on more and more to build my confidence more and more every day. That was just the main thing. There were times where it was just one-on-one, me and like a coach, working on the things that I need to work on to excel my game. Then there were days where I played actually pickup, to work on the things that I have been working on. So a little bit of both. So both of them were helping me build my confidence as, the days went by.
Yeah, you talked to us so much last season about your mindset, just, obviously getting traded mid-season and all that. But now, well, it's kind of weird because you were here for a couple months and then pretty much everything changed. But where is your mind at going into this season? Do you have specific goals other than, I just want to get better? Do you feel more settled, or are you still kind of learning everything because everyone's new all over again?
I would say if there was a percentage of what it was, I would say I'm at 95%. The last 5% is when the season gets in. That's my main thing. Once I get through training camp, that's when I'll be fully locked in. Just like I said, I didn't go home. My mindset was to get in the gym, work on everything I needed to work on to be able to withstand another season and be able to help the team, get to where we wanted to be. And that was back to the playoffs and past the first round and so on and so forth.
Daniel, Justin Kutcher, we never actually met, so it's finally great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Last year when you got traded here, all of a sudden it was like you got a new opportunity. It looked almost like it was like a new lease on life for your career. Is that part of the motivation, what you saw, what you could do? And now in the offseason, like, wow, if I can do that when I wasn't in shape, what can I do when I'm in shape?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was at times where I felt like I took a lot of things for granted, especially like being in Chicago and stuff. There were times where I was in a position to be able to show the team what I can do and show how I could help the team, but it's just I never came prepared. And like you said, I would say I was never in shape
when it came down to it, I felt like I was, but when I got out there on the court, it was a whole different story. Everybody's seen it. So I had to change the narrative on like what a lot of people were saying, for sure, because there was one tweet that I actually like paid attention to before I even got traded. It was like I was playing myself out of the league, and I didn't want that to happen. Not at all. I got a lot of people that are behind me that are pushing me to be the player that I want to be, and I don't want to let them down. So that's just my main focus.
Dani, I'm Dave Johnson of the Wizards Radio. I guess we never actually met last year.
Yeah, I say I ain't seen a lot of people face it.
I've got a face for radio. So, but along those lines, and Spencer talked about this, you know, as he comes to a new team wanting to prove the Wizards right. And is that part of this mentality you were just talking about, how hard you worked in the summer? You're obviously self-motivated, but also it's a team you clearly wanted you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that was just the main thing, you know, just having the idea in the back of your head that it's like a team out there that actually wanted me. You know, I felt like my only place was Chicago, to be honest, because of how I was playing and how, you know, things were going there. Because, I mean, I was on the bench at one point in time, so on and so forth. But whenever I got out there, you know, it looked like I was, you know, BSing and stuff. You know, I got a dunk here, I got a block there, little things. But it never really built up to where I could excel and be the player that I wanted to be in Chicago. So I thought my only place was there. But then to find out that another team wanted me for, you know, a lot more reasons than I thought, I mean, it really helped me out a lot. It helped me boost my confidence. It helped me get out of the dark place that I was in because, like I said, what the tweet had said, I was playing myself out of the league. I actually thought I was going to be out of the league, you know, before my second year even ended. So, I mean, it was a lot of stuff that was, you know, on my mind when I was in Chicago. I was trying to get over it, things like that. But once I got traded to Washington and, you know, I talked to all the guys from Chicago, there was never a thought in my mind that was negative about Chicago. I mean, you know, day in, day out, I came in and worked there. I mean, they seen it. And, you know, once they made the trade, I understood because this is a business. You can't really, you know, get too mad and get too butthurt about the business. I was a little hurt at the time, but I mean, you get over it because sooner or later I'm going to see them again on down the road. It's going to be happy faces and a lot of highs and buys, you know, and then it's going to be a whole game to be played. So sooner or later I'll see them again.
Daniel, how much of your kind of restructuring this summer was due to the fact that you knew, hey, there's starters minutes available this year, and I'm going to be the starter, and I need to be ready for that?
If we being honest, and this is just me being completely honest, I wasn't really just worrying about starting. I was just really just worrying about, you know, being out there on the floor. You know, I can start throughout any of the games that we play, you know, but to be honest, I just want to be on the floor. That's the main thing, being out there to be able to help the team. Like a starting job, I'm all for that. I appreciate that, you know, I would say confidence that they have in me. I appreciate that a lot. But when it comes to starting, it really doesn't even matter. I start or I play on the bench. Whatever job you have me do, I'll do it. Plain and simple. As long as I get playing time to be able to go out and help my team win.
Also, during last season, you were talking about wind and losing, not being able to sustain your win. Did you ever look and check and see if it was sports asthma or anything like that? Or was it just, I just need to be in better shape?
Yeah, it was just, I just needed to be in better shape, plain and simple. You know, the tempo of an NBA game is way faster than what I would say I'm usually used to. Because when it came from college and stuff, when I was telling everybody at first with all the interviews and stuff, they were like, how's the pace and how have you adjusted? I always said I was good, but I got out on the floor. I was not there. I was not that good at all. So just taking some steps back and just realizing that it helps a lot because it was a lot of things that I can really just focus on working on to be able to help my win and stuff coming into this next season.
Just to clarify, this tweet that has motivated you, was that just from some random fan or was it from like a member of the media?
I think it was actually from, I'm pretty sure, Arkansas Razorback fan. You know, Arkansas Razorback fans are by far the best fans that a person can really have because they can motivate you and they can put you down at the same time. But I mean, I appreciate it because it was one of the people that really motivated me when I was back at Arkansas, and just seeing them say that, it really just, you know, brought something out of me. It was like, yeah, sooner or later, I mean, something's going to have to click with me. to where I can be able to withstand multiple seasons in the NBA, because that's what I want to do. I want to play this game. I dreamed of being in this position all my life. Well, half my life, because at first I was playing instruments and stuff like that, but that's another story. But yeah, so it wasn't really just like a random person, because once I seen it, I was like, yeah, I know who it was. I liked it and everything. I even saved it in my tweets. So
Stay away from those people. You don't know. Trust me, I can speak to that. You mentioned your workouts this summer and how it was motivating, what Kobe said. And then you got a chance to play with Russell Westbrook last year, and he's known for his work ethic. What did you learn from playing with Russ with his work ethic? And what did you learn from those workouts that you were trying to like almost be Kobe in those workouts?
Just staying consistent and working for the results that you really want. And I actually got the results thing. I actually got that from anime. Just working for results. Like I intertwine a lot of things that happen around me, and I use it for motivation to be able to withstand like workouts or anything like that, to help me, build my craft, certain things like that. It helps me learn like a lot of stuff on the court and off the court, to be honest. So just working for the results that I wanted was like my main focus, not working for, I always say stuff about the team and everything like that, but summertime, that's my time. And working on my craft and everything, that's what I used my time to do. So I worked for the results, and I got the results that I wanted.
We'll now go to Zoom. We'll start with Neil.
Hey, Daniel, good to see you again. In addition to just, general conditioning, what are some of the other things that you and, I know you work closely with Alex, try to implement into your game this offseason?
Just really slowing down the pace of the game whenever the ball was in my hands, not going too fast, not taking uncomfortable shots, and being on balance and having a strong base, and just mainly like simple things that'll help me slow the game down for myself.
And maybe this is, still to come as you guys grow closer as a team, but have you gotten any advice from Montrezl Harrell, just being a veteran center in this league that you think can help your game?
Yeah, for sure. The main thing he says is stay locked in. That's pretty much it.
Cool. Appreciate it, Daniel.
No problem.
Here, Michelle. We'll go to Glenn.
Is that me? I can't hear you.
Sorry, Glenn, go ahead.
All right. Hey, Daniel, it's Glenn Consor. I am the radio color analyst and TV as well at times. You mentioned how you're in this position in your career where you're learning what it takes to be a pro. You're learning about your body, what you need to do to stay in great shape, the shape that you need to be in to play and stay on the floor. There's also skill development too. That's going to take time. You're in that learning phase.
Right.
If you were coaching you, how would you coach you right now?
Like going into this season? You mean like, okay.
Right now. What are the best ways for you to learn? How, if you were coaching yourself in games, what would be the best way to coach you?
Main thing I would tell myself is to slow down. Like a person like me, my mind goes 1,000 miles per hour whenever I'm playing, to be honest. And so just the main thing I would tell myself is just to slow down and let the game come to you. Don't go out and try to take it, because if you do, you're not going to get the result that you want. If you slow down and just take your time and be patient with the process, the process is going to give you what you want in the end.
And there's a lot of learning involved in the NBA, in learning schemes and where to be and how to cut and when to cut, and
right,
defensively as well. What's the best ways for you to learn? Is it being pulled aside? Is it during in-game action? Is it a combination? Just your thoughts on that.
Really, just for me, just taking the time out and actually going to learn instead of just, being pulled aside, certain things like that. Because sometimes with me, it's rare for me to be pulled aside and get pointers and stuff. So I take it upon myself to actually go get those pointers, by myself. Like if there was a foul in the game and I'm trying to figure out how to keep myself from getting that foul, it was footage of like me going to talk to a ref. Like those are like the main things that I do. Like I'll go ask like, hey, how can I not get this foul, or how can I get this foul? You know, if somebody fouls me on offense and I don't get the foul, which I mean, they need to do better on that anyways, but that's another story. But just little things like that, just, you know, taking accountability of yourself and actually going to talk to people and learning in your own way.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Last question to Jay Rashad.
I'm assuming you said my name. I couldn't really hear that well, but how are you, Daniel? Welcome to another season with the Wizards this year. What do you look forward to most this season? I mean, I think as the season progressed last year, you know, you were beginning to be a favorite amongst, you know, DC, and, you know, what do you look forward to taking what you've learned from last season going into this season this year?
Main thing I'm looking forward to is just coming out in front of another crowd, hopefully, you know, with this COVID stuff going on. Hopefully we got fans in the building, but you know, I'm not gonna have my hopes up. But other than that, just being back in the arena and just playing a whole nother full season. Because I mean, I miss basketball, even though I've been going throughout all summer with a basketball in my hand. It's totally different just being in an arena and just playing for something, you know, trying to get back in the position that we were in last year in that first round. I mean, we want to get back to that. So that's the main focus.
I think that's it. Thank you, Daniel.
All right.
Oh, he used to offer fast over actually, but I don't know. I can't even
Thomas Bryant and
Nice to see you, dude.
I ain't got no questions for me. I don't want to talk to me.
Thomas, first of all, good to see you for the first time.
Thank you.
How you doing? How's the rehab going? I don't think we talked to you in quite a while.
I'm doing good. Rehab's doing real good. I feel like I'm at a great place physically and mentally, especially coming off the injury, and how close I am to just, you know, just having everything down the line, up to par, and feeling great is right there.
Last season was a complete roller coaster for this team. I mean, obviously down 15 games and 17-6. What was that like from your perspective? Like being part of the team, technically, you know, being on the bench, but not being in there. I mean, it must have been pretty long.
Well, yeah, it was tough. You know, when the injury came and, you know, just being on the sidelines, not being able to help my team out, you know, just trying to be there mentally for them any way possible that I can on the sidelines, cheering for them, being there as a good teammate. It was tough. It was a very big mental game for me, you know, throughout that season.
That's kind of what I was going to ask you, Thomas, especially with an injury where the recovery time is so long, where I'm sure like some months you're feeling great and some months are harder than others. Have you mastered kind of staying the course and making sure you don't rush back and being good with your mindset and everything like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had to do that a lot, especially coming off the surgery with just how everything was, just very monologuish, very technique. And you just had to be patient. You know, that injury right there forces you to have mental patience, and it forces you to have mental toughness and learn how to, you know, work with your body, learn what's good for you, what's not good for you, and how far you can pace yourself and what you can do to, you know, really try and help yourself to get to the next level.
I'm sure you're looking as the kind of roster falls into place and as you're acquiring guys over the offseason. What's been the message from the coaching staff in terms of what you need to be focused on right now?
Message from the coaching staff really is just trying to get out there and be better. The main thing was just coming off this injury and being healthy, making sure everything stays healthy, everything is down and packed, and making sure everything is real good coming to the season. We don't want no holdups or any mishaps or anything that might come off at the back end. So we want to make sure everything is straight down to a T and making sure I'm healthy to come back.
Thomas, it's great to see you again. You've had injuries in the past. 2 years ago, you missed time. But when you had that, when it was the ACL, and you know you're going to be out for a year, basketball all of a sudden is taken away from you.
Mm.
When that happens, does it almost increase your love for the game and realize like how much you miss it? Or what is it? How do you get through that mental hurdle when you know that you're going to be out for the year?
Well, for me, I take it on as different. You know, there's going to be a lot of obstacles that people face throughout their lives. You know, some people might handle it better than others. Some people might not handle it better than others. But either way, you know, it's the card you're dealt. It's the hand it's the hand you have to play. So you have to play it the best way you can. And for me, quitting is just not an option. Breaking down and letting something get the best of me isn't the option. So for me, I had to dig down deep and learn to mentally overcome this challenge. And also, it did give me a new profound respect and love for the game of basketball. And you know, when it's taken away from you, it's very hard to deal with. It's very hard because that's like the one love that you have in your life right there. It's the one thing that's always been there, always intact, that you know that you can always go to. So when that's taken away from you, it's very hard. It's almost depressing in a sort of way. But when you're mentally strong and, you know, you keep talking to yourself, working with yourself and everything, the days don't get so much harder. They get a little bit easier. Not saying that they're fully easy where it's a walk in the park, but it's days where it's mentally challenging and you overcome that hurdle. You feel a newfound perspective of everything. And just knowing how you're so close to the finish line, it just builds up more anticipation right there to where you just want to be out there, and you just have to try and pace yourself. But yeah, the newfound love of the game has really, really, really erupted in me. So thank you.
In that case, I can't wait to see it back up.
Along those lines, I mean, there's that cliche about, you know, don't let a crisis go to waste. And it sounds like you took full advantage. Do you feel in some ways you're better or stronger? Not that you'd ever want to go through this or by design, but as you said, it was the card you were dealt. So what did you learn about yourself over these last few months, and maybe learn about basketball, not so much to love, but just that you were forced to watch it in a different way?
Oh yeah, being forced to watch it got me a lot into the film sessions, even more than I was before. So just looking at different aspects of the game, looking at different players, looking at myself, looking at past games, up-to-date games, and just also really trying to overcome this real big thing. But for me, I felt like I've grown absolutely better than what I was before. Very, very, very aware, very, very aware of my body, what it needs, how it's supposed to move, how it's supposed to, you know, be the machine for me. So I really feel like it was a blessing in disguise for me. So that's what I'm taking it as, and that's what I'm going to run with it as.
Hey, Thomas, when you get back on the floor, this is a completely different team than the one you left. I mean, it's in all ways. I just wonder how you kind of thought about, this is how I can fit in. This is a good role for me. I know this is how I can help them.
Well, for me, I feel everything that I was doing up to now is going to help me with this team. And I feel like we have a lot of great pieces. We have a lot of threats that can be out there on the court multiple times. And the one thing I noticed about this team is that we're not head cases. We don't think about anything else except the team. Like right now, we're all talking in our group chat, you know, trying to build some chemistry and everything. So that's a great start for us. And for me personally, I feel, you know, if I can win, I get back to getting out there playing, it'll just flow right through. It'll be right there.
You, right before you got injured, it kind of developed into one of the more accurate three-point shooters from your position. What's kind of the next step do you hope to move forward with in that regard when it comes to outside shooting?
Well, for me, the outside shooting is consistency. You know, I want to be consistent in everything, no matter if it's, you know, 1 game, 10 games, 20 games, to 82 game season. I want to build that consistency up for the longevity of the long season. So for me, it was that. And also when I was in injury, it was just multiple times of just shooting, stand still shooting, whether I was in a chair, standing up, anything like that. So I think that helped a lot too.
And this isn't the first time you've gone into a contract year.
Mhm.
Last time, obviously, it worked out really well for you. What do you kind of take from that experience going into this time? Because obviously, sometimes it can be difficult for players on that.
I don't think about that. I go into this game playing a game that I love each and every day, trying to go in, help my team, no matter if it's a contract year or I've just signed a deal, it doesn't matter. You know, you can't have that mindset right then and there. For me, for myself personally, it's just another day in the office. I don't take it as I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that, a contract year, this or that. Like, no, you can't get caught up into that. You'll lose yourself into that. I want to stay right here and present with myself and my team.
And I guess maybe following up on a question I asked earlier, just what's specifically where are you at in the rehab in terms of like working towards a return? Because Tommy and others have indicated it might be in mid-December. So kind of like, what's the road from here today?
It's close. It's very close. I wouldn't say mid-December, but it's close.
All right, we'll transition over to Zoom here. Christy?
Hey, Thomas, just kind of expounding on that point with the rehab, and you're going through it, trying to get your body back. You said your mind is in a great place as well, but what has been the biggest hurdle for you in terms of the pain threshold? Like, when do you know that, okay, that's enough for today? Because you're super competitive. So how do you pump the brakes on how your body is feeling?
It's funny, the trainers have to tell me that. I don't really put any brakes on it because for me, my mindset is just work. I don't have anything else outside of my mind distracting me or anything else. So my one place is the gym. My one place is the weight room. My one place is, working out, trying to get better. So for me, it's just getting back to that threshold of just no matter what, you go out there and do what you have to do, no matter if you're in pain, no matter if you're tired, stress or anything else like that. But I think it's on the trainers, really. I don't really put any brakes on it.
Understood. And with Wes Unseld Jr., understanding that he's going to come in with a defensive mindset initially, what does that mean for the team? And what do you want the team eventually to identify with in terms of the overall personality?
I believe that's great. I believe that's absolutely fantastic for us. As many times as many people said, and you guys all know, we clean up a little bit of defense, we win a lot more games. So I feel like that's a great mindset to have, especially coming into training camp into the season.
Thank you.
Thomas, Sigilfredo Franco from Colombia. How do you like Jaime Chenique performance during training camp?
Excuse me, one more time.
Jaime Chenique. How do you like Jaime Chenique performance during training camp?
I like him a lot. I think he's a great piece. It helps us a lot.
Good to see you. You're into, a lot of interesting non-basketball hobbies. I'm curious, with the time off, did you pick up any new hobbies?
I really haven't picked up any new hobbies, really. For me, it's just getting back into drawing a little bit more. But for me, it's other than that and resting, it's all about rehab and getting back to it. Like, that's really my whole thing that I've done since the injury and throughout the summer was just straightforward tunnel vision mindset of just getting back and working on this left leg to get back to it.
Fair enough. You'll have to ask Kentavious. He said he's a bit of a drawer too.
Oh, for sure.